Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Smith Slye, joined by Kate Cherney in the broadcast booth here at the Palouse Ice Rink in beautiful Moscow, Idaho, home of the Idaho Vandals and the Washington State Cougars for men's Division II ACHA hockey. It's a spring game, Washington State versus Idaho. Kate, go ahead and test your microphone.
Testing. WSU versus U of I, spring game. Super exciting here coming up very soon.
Yeah, the Cougs played against the University of Idaho last weekend. They won both of those games in the spring schedule. Now they're playing them again. This was a bit of a last-minute addition to the schedule. We were a little bit taken by surprise this weekend. We're like, man, we're going to have to go up to this Monday and do this game. We're really excited. It's going to be a really, really fun matchup. Kate Cherney's going to be on play-by-play for the first and third period, and I will be on play-by-play for the second period of today's matchup. Connor Simmons is behind the camera, the lovely, lovely member of our broadcast crew. And, of course, Zach McFarland not with us today. He's battling an illness at the moment, unfortunately, so we're praying for Zach, hoping that he has a speedy recovery. But we'll be back on live closer to puck drop at around 6:30 p.m. Smith Slye alongside Kate Cherney in the broadcast booth on KUGR Sports, the home of Cougar hockey. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is a KUGR sports production,
Good pass down low to Airstrip, and he scores off the glass.
giving you play-by-play coverage of all your favorite WSU athletics.
He doesn't get it! He stopped at the line!
Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and more.
Absolutely electrifying play from Washington State to get him right back in this game.
Follow us on YouTube at KUGR Sports to listen to every game live.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Never miss a moment with the best in the West. KUGR, the student voice of the Palouse.
Gets the Cougs on the board with less than 20 seconds remaining in this first period. Here come the Cougs.
And now, back to the game.
You're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR.
Postseason matchup here. It is the Battle of the Palouse with WSU versus U of I. I'm Kate Cherney, joined along here with Smith Slye. Smith, what are we looking for going into this game after we've seen in the playoffs in the past season? What do you think this matchup is going to kind of look like?
Well, I mean, the Cougs have played against this team a lot in the regular season and now in the spring schedule as well. They played 2 games against them so far, and now this is their 3rd game against them in the spring season. But the Cougs also played against them 3 times in the regular season. The Cougs blew them out in the first game. That was the first game of the season. The Cougs blew them out. And then they lost one of the games later on in the year, and then they had a 9-0 blowout in one of those other games as well. So this is an Idaho team that on any given day can kind of spoil the Cougs, but if the Cougs come out and play the game that they're known for playing, that's being gritty, being just WSU hockey, you can 100% beat the University of Idaho Vandals because they are a good team. They played in the independent league for much of their season, where the Cougs play in the Pac-8, much more competitive conference, and we're about to head to the national anthem. We'll be back in just a little bit for puck drop here in this game against the University of Idaho Vandals.
Puck drop is going to be starting very soon here as the Palouse ice rink seems to be in a bit of a rush. But I'm very excited for this matchup. As you said before we went to break, WSU blew them out in that first game. I believe it was almost 9-0. And then the second day, Idaho came back and won. You said WSU needs to just play their gritty game. They need to get pucks on net. They need to stay out of the box. We've seen that happen before as well. But, U of I, when they want to be, they can push the Cougars off the puck. They get in gritty, like you said, and they really work for it when they want it. So, I've said this before, it's just going to be a battle of who wants it more. Spring season, who cares more in this contest? Van Rainer's going to be taking the puck against number 22, Joey Vaughn. Cougs are going to win it back to their defense, up to Luke Jurgensen, who just dumps it in deep. Cole Carlson chasing after it behind the net, battling with number 16. Idaho's going to send it up to their forward on the board, but WSU is able to keep it in. Idaho, when one little pass, is able to send it out to number 70, Bobby Ludwig, who looks like it's going to be an offsides call. Well,
he got that puck on his blade and tried to just chip it up into the zone, hit right off the ceiling here at the Palouse Ice Rink. You see that a lot during the season when the Cougs play here. They'll try and clear puck out, and they have metal beams kind of going along the roof here. They're only about 20, 30 feet up in the air, so if you try and high clear puck out, a lot of times you'll hit off those, and it ends up being a dead puck. You have to have a neutral zone face-off.
Bobby Lugwood there trying to get the puck in deep but not able to get control of it. Finally, U of I is just able to tap it in, but Luke Jurgensen stops them, and Cole Carlson is going to battle down deep for it, getting pushed off the puck eventually by number 16. 16 up to his forward is going to be stopped by Luke Jurgensen, and then back up to Bobby Lugwick. Lugwick's going to battle it out there and be able to win it up to number 16. 16 skating it out. He's going to skate it wide, getting it just out of the defense's reach. He passes over, and he scores. I believe that was number 44, Benson Wilson.
That was just a great play there from Idaho. Number 16 skates it in. He goes shoulder to shoulder with Sam Hembry, the senior alternate captain for the Cougs. Just kind of bullies him off. Is somehow able to get a pass over to Wilson, and then he just one-time claps it right over the shoulder of Alexi Kuhl, who's in net today for Washington State. He was the best goaltender for Wazoo in the regular season and probably the best goaltender in the entire Pac-8 Conference, and he just got beat there on that slap chance.
David Bushkin trying to skate it in wide is forced to turn and battle it out there on the boards for Brandon Smith to eventually pick it up with Evan King, it looks like, in front of the net. Up to the defense. Lex Ballard's going to take a shot, but gets nothing. Number 36, I believe that's Luke Adams, battling it out there, able to win it out over to Lex Ballard. That was a D-to-D pass. Lex back to his defensive partner, looks like number 8. That's going to be Ethan Maurer, who just sends it on in for number 21 on U of I to pick up. Lex Ballard once again getting it on the blue line, able to skate it in a little bit before U of I pushes them off the puck. WSU looking a little slow there to get possession, and U of I is capitalizing on it right now with a defensive regroup. Number 44, Benson Wilson, the goal scorer, tries to send it up to number 36, Luke Adams, but it's tipped off by the goalie, Alexi Kuhl. Luke Jurgensen picking it up on the boards there after it was rimmed around. He's looking for a pass up to Cole Carlson. Cole Carlson not quite getting possession of it, just kind of dumps it to center ice, but Luke Jurgensen picks it up, chips it off the boards. U of I is going to pick it up and try to get it out of the zone, but Lucas Robinson is able to keep it in. Number 21, I believe that's Ethan Maurer, picking it up, sending it up to his defense. And then back down low, Luke Jurgensen just out of reach for him, but he's able to skate and pick it up to, I believe that's Reed Mullen, and on net where it's stopped.
I will say, Washington State seems like they're really struggling to get established in the zone. That right there, those couple of scoring opportunities that they had were kind of the best chances, best looks they've had early on this period. 17 minutes, 21 seconds left in the first frame. It's 1-0, Idaho leading. And right now you're starting to see Wazoo try and read this Idaho defense. But so far, Idaho's been really great at stripping them of the puck and forcing them to have to turn it over.
Cole Carlson getting the puck up there on the top of the circle, but back down for Luke Jurgensen to pick up and send it up to the D, but the D can't quite find a window. U of I just dumping it out to Lucas Robinson, who sends it right on back in. Cole Carlson picking it up behind the net. He's trying to make moves around Idaho forwards and defensemen, and they're able to just get it on net, but it's not good enough to get a rebound off of. Finally, U of I picking it up there off the back of the net and able to finally get it out. Van Rayner tried to get possession of the puck, but Luke Jurgensen is able to pick it up, tries to send it on net. Looks like he's going to try and make a change here soon because U of I is able to skate it out easily. Number 44, once again, Benton Wilson, able to get it on net. There's shots after shots, but WC is able to pick it up, get it out. That's Keegan Lucas, who just sends it on net, and it's gloved down by Mahoney.
That's a great glove save there from Braxton Mahoney. You got Keegan Lucas, a freshman defenseman. He's been absolutely phenomenal so far this year. 3 goals, 6 assists. He's 6 feet tall, out of Gig Harbor, Washington, and he's fast. Him and Lex Ballard are a pair of freshman defensemen who are really, really, really quick. And when they can skate it in, they can catch you sleeping a little bit, and that's what Keegan Lucas was trying to do right there.
Mullen able to win this puck to his forward, and finally passes it backdoor and scores! Lucas Clark with the goal.
And good heads-up play there from Lucas Clark, the Pullman, Washington native, brother of Micah Clark, who's also on this team. He was camping right there on the far post off to the right of Braxton Mahoney. He's able to get that puck and just kind of tuck it over the shoulder. That's just way too easy, and that evens it up. It's 1-1 with 16 minutes left in the first period. That's a good response there from Washington State.
Same line out there with Evan King taking this face-off and able to just send it on down into U of I's zone. Number 36, Luke Adams, is going to pick it up off the board and send it on over to his forward, who just dumps it and ices it.
It's really, really evenly matched here early on in the first frame. There's only 4 minutes gone. Like I mentioned, 16 minutes left in the period. It's tied up 1-1. Both these teams are really kind of feeling each other out. I mean, on paper, Washington State is the better team. They went 14-17 overall in the regular season. The Vandals only won 3 games in the regular season, according to the ACHA website. It's not always the most accurate, but if you're going off that, this is a team that the Washington State Cougars should beat every day of the week.
Van Rayner trying to get a puck on net there, but it's stopped by the defense of U of I. Cole Carlson able to pick it up off the boards. He just kind of is trying to skate it through the middle, tries to get something happening, can't quite happen, sent out to the outside, and up to the defense, who scores! 25, Sam Hembry.
Phenomenal goal there from Sam Hembry. That is his first goal of the year. He had 7 assists, only 7 points coming into this game. He got his first goal of the season. It comes in the spring, and that gives the Cougs the lead. 2-1 here with 15 minutes and 45 seconds left. What a goal from the senior alternate captain, Hembry.
Van Rayner taking this puck for the face-off. U of I is going to try and push it forward. That's going to be number 3, Tanner Fearley. But nothing's going to really happen, and the puck's going to get stuck in the neutral zone as U of I sends it into their own zone for it looks like a defensive regroup. Number 21 picking it up behind the net there, looking to pass it up to number 9. That's going to be Talon Smith. Talon Smith just dumping it down, and again, oh, no icing. Puck is going to be sent along the boards and up to U of I's defense, who's trying to get maybe a tip happening there. But nothing happens. Lex Ballard is able to pick up the puck and skate it out of the zone. He tries to pass it over to Cole Carlson, but Cole Carlson was not ready for that one. Cole Carlson over to Luke Jurgensen as he gets pushed down to the ice. Luke Jurgensen tried to get a one-timer off there. Cole Carlson once again skating on in and trying to pick up pucks there, but nobody can quite get possession of the puck. Cole Carlson along the boards there almost loses it, but is able to maintain possession and try and get a puck on net for Mahoney to cover.
I'm liking this modified first line you're seeing right now from the Washington State Cougars. Jurgensen, Carlson, and Van Rayner. Usually during the regular season, it was Carlson, Jurgensen, and Sehoven, and after Jurgensen joined late, Jurgensen, of course, is a 6-year student who transferred in from MSU, and he's been phenomenal so far this year with the Cougs. 3 goals, 7 assists, even though he'd only played in 16 games in the regular season. But this new first line, Jurgensen, Van Rayner, and Cole Carlson, they're looking really electric to start out this game.
Evan King picking up the puck there behind the net, looking to make something happen up to Reed Mullen, and back down for Brandon Smith to pick up. Brandon Smith quite can't get a connection on it, but gets it over to Bushkin, who's looking for a pass to make up to Reed Mullen. Reed Mullen just tries to rip it on net, but doesn't quite get it. And it looks like U of I, it's going to be back in their zone as they try to get it out. Number 44, Benson Wilson, skating it down the ice, tries to pass it to his player. His player didn't look like he was ready, but recovered very well. That's Brandon Smith there battling it out on the boards. They're able to finally get it up, but it doesn't look like Evan King can maintain possession, and it's on Alexi Kuhl.
You got about 14 minutes left here in the first period. It's 2-1, Washington State leading. And right now, Idaho's doing a pretty good job of responding. After that Sam Hembry goal, they're doing a good job of limiting the opportunities the Cougs have in their offensive zone and being able to skate the puck back down ice to be able to set things up on offense. They have a lot of speed, and you're seeing them show it off right here in the Palouse Ice Rink.
14 minutes left in the period. WSU leads 2-1, and U of I rips it on net once again for Alexi Kuhl to glove.
And Alexi Kuhl, I mentioned it before, was arguably the best goaltender in the entire Pac-8 conference. He's out of Vancouver, Washington. He had an .891 save percentage, which is about 5th place in the pack, 4.6 goals against on average, and he faced 918 shots. Just let that sink in.
WSU picking it up off the blue line there with Van Rayner pressuring hard alongside Luke Jurgensen. Finally, WSU is able to get it. Luke Jurgensen just dumping it into Idaho's zone. But Idaho gets possession of it. 36, Adams is going to send it out to 9, Smith. Luke Jurgensen once again in the neutral zone. A powerhouse there is able to get it into the zone and try and get possession. But once again, it's hit out. Cole Carlson trying to skate it in there. But finally, Van Rayner was able to get it, send it over to Sam Hembry, who takes a shot on net, and it's gloved by Mahoney.
Yeah, Sam Hembry, the second goal scorer tonight for Washington State, trying to put that shot on. Of course, the defensive stick kind of broke it up. It's a fair catch for Braxton Mahoney, who just kind of parks underneath it and makes that grab. But right now, I'm really liking the lines you're seeing from Washington State. They're getting a lot of different guys, a lot of guys who might not always play a lot, but they're getting in, they're getting their reps, and you're going to see them possibly just try and grind down this Vandals team. Because if you can grind them down over the next 40-plus minutes, you're going to have a pretty good chance of taking this spring game.
Matthew Taylor pushing that face-off forward, but it's not good enough as U of I gains possession of the puck, skating in hard as Graves takes a shot on net, but Alexi Kuhl just covers it easily.
Now, Kate, what would you say about that shot right there, right into the logo?
You know, I think that that's a little dangerous that, you know, he was skating right down the middle. WSU's defense should be able to kind of push him off and far. They should not let him skate in the open lane straight down the ice and let that shot happen on Alexi Kuhl. It's just too easy.
I was going to say, you say it a lot during the regular season. You're not going to score if you shoot it right into the chest of the goaltender. That's what they did right there. And Alexi Kuhl, again, I mentioned he's one of the best goaltenders, but, you know, if he makes the easy saves like that.
Very true. Matthew Taylor is going to skate it down the ice. It's nice to see him back on the ice after taking a short break. But Wyatt Perry is going to pick it up off the boards there, but not quite good enough as number 10, Graves, the previous shooter, is able to get it, but he's thrown off the puck as he scrambles there with Matthew Taylor. Looks like they're kind of pushing and shoving a little bit. Matthew Taylor can't quite connect on that pass from his defense. Lex Ballard picks it up down low, looking for a pass to make, but they're not quite going to get it. Wyatt Perry's able to pick it up in the neutral zone. He tries to take a shot on net, but it's just tipped off and sent into the netting.
And you mentioned it there, Kate. It's really great to have Matthew Taylor back on the roster. He's a freshman out of Gig Harbor, Washington. This was his rookie season, and it got cut short. He only had 2 goals and 2 assists in the regular season. And, of course, he had to leave the team because of academics, which you see a lot in club hockey and club sports a lot. Sometimes guys get a little bit behind on their academics. They just need a little bit of time to get their heads back above water. But that was a kind of a gutting loss for Washington State to lose one of your better freshmen on the team.
U of I is going to gain possession of the puck, skating it behind the net, and ultimately making a spin move. That's going to be number 21. And up over to Adams, who's going to miss the puck, and it looks like it's almost going to be icing. They might wave it off, and they do, for number 9, Lucas Robinson, who just kind of sends it around, once again gaining possession of it, throwing Idaho off the trail. And finally, Reed Mullen is going to send it on up to Brandon Smith, who's just not going to quite connect on that pass. Number 21, that's going to be Desjardins picking it up, just kind of sends it in for Brandon Smith. Lucas Robinson there once again with the puck. Just kind of dump and chase a hockey once again. They're just kind of dumping it into the neutral zone. U of I, WSU, U of I, WSU, they're just kind of dumping it back and forth. Nobody really maintaining possession of the puck. Finally, this is going to be David Bushkin, the freshman phenom, skating it down the middle of the ice, thrown off the puck, and he's going to recover and try to get it off the boards as he's hit. Looks like he's able to recover once again, looking for something to happen in front of the net, tries to make a wraparound, but U of I is going to pick it up and just dump it up to Adams, who dumps it up to WSU's defenseman. And it's going to be very back and forth here as David Bushkin's able to recover in the center of the ice, tries to take a shot. Luke Jurgensen there supporting him on the boards. Once again hit, very physical game here, but he maintains possession through it all. Sends it up to Lucas Robinson, who takes a one-timer. Cole Carlson able to get it off the rebound. He's battling behind the net with number 9, Smith. And U of I is just going to try and send it out. Luke Jurgensen sending it right on back in for them for a line change for WSU.
And about 10.5 minutes left here in the first period, 2-1, Washington State leading. And going back to that chance from Lucas Robinson out in the slot, you could see Jurgensen setting that up from the get-go. He was in the near wing. He had his head up. He saw Lucas Robinson moving into the slot, got that pass to him for a one-time, and that's a really good play. That's why Jurgensen is showing off his veteran leadership. A 6-year student, he's been playing hockey for a long time.
Jurgensen picking up the puck, like you said, tries to pass it out to, he tried to pass it out to Cole Carlson, but he scores.
Make a pass, make a shot, Ricochets in. It doesn't matter in the ACHA. Goals like that are how you're going to win hockey games. And Luke Jurgensen, I was just talking about him and the experience that he has. That's now his 4th goal of the year, and he's just showing why he's got that veteran experience, why he's a 6-year student, and why he can just make things happen on the ice, and why he was such a quality pickup for Washington State as a transfer.
Great goal there. Although it was accidental, it was still a goal as WSU leads 3-1 with 10 minutes left. Luke Jurgensen, the goal scorer, trying to pick it up off the boards there, just sent down low. It looked like WSU in Idaho was waiting for a whistle to be called. Cole Carlson motioned for a U of I player to just pick up the puck, but it looked like nobody wanted to touch it.
I will say, Kate, you mentioned it before, this is a very physical game, and I got to say, every single time the Vandals and the Cougs play, there is physicality. Not necessarily fights. You can't fight in college hockey, but it gets very chippy, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. These are some of the best games to go to if you're a fan, and that's why we have a packed-out barn today at the Palouse Ice Rink.
Cole Carlson picking the puck up off the boards there with Luke Jurgensen backdoor as the defense sends it down. He just quite can't get it as Van Rayner picks it up from behind the net and barred down, goal!
Holy smokes, Van Rayner, one of the captains on this team, gets his 16th goal of the season. That he's perfectly balanced now, 16 goals, 16 assists. That is just why he's a leader on this team. Gets the puck on the far side, on the blade, and snipes it. Top bins over the shoulder of Mahoney. That's how you're gonna win hockey games right now. It's 4-1 Cougars.
Beautiful goal there by Van Rayner. Matthew Taylor taking this face-off, wins it over to Wyatt Perry, sending it back to the defense for a regroup. Lex Ballard sends it up and into the net for Luke Jurgensen, who gets his hand hit a little and shakes it off.
This is looking to be a pretty good game thus far. 4-1, 9.5 left in the first period. And I will say, a 4-1 lead in the ACHA is actually really not that much. If you want to win this game, you got to keep your foot on the gas for Washington State. Use that three-goal margin to kind of just bury Idaho if you can.
Like you said, 4-1 with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left. WSU is leading as Lex Ballard picks up the puck in his own zone, looking to skate it all by himself. But he's kind of tripped up a little bit as he hits number 44, Benton Wilson, in the head, and the refs are going to call it.
Yeah, that was what we'd like to call flagrant foul. That was very, very obvious. And that's Lex Ballard showing why he's a freshman, why he's young, or maybe he's got a little bit of a temper on him. You saw that a little bit in the regular season. Lex Ballard's definitely a guy who he can run his mouth a little bit. You saw that in a lot of games against Western. I remember interviewing him after a game against Western at the Eastern Washington Rec Center, and he said, I asked him, like, okay, what was going on with the kind of chippiness there? And he said that we don't like anybody on their roster, which, I mean, definitely hyperbole there, but I would definitely believe it. Lex Ballard, he definitely can get under people's skin a little bit, but the vice versa. People can get under his skin as well, and now the Cougs go down a man, even though they're up by 3 goals.
I mentioned this coming into the game. WSU has to be careful about these penalties, as we've seen them definitely hurt them in the past. WSU is just going to send it down for no icing as they're on a penalty, but U of I is going to be able to recover from that as WSU tries not to tire out their legs. However, U of I is going to get an icing.
Yeah, that's just a mistake there from number 22, Joey Vaughn. Just ice that puck, even though you have the man advantage, even though you're on the power play. You had to bring it back into your own zone, park yourself behind the net of Mahoney. You're trying to break in, then you ice that puck. You can take the time to be able to set something up, get into the offensive zone to possibly get a goal. You need to capitalize on power play opportunities like that, because the Cougs aren't really going to be giving you any other opportunities outside of that.
U of I skating up the puck. That's going to be number 21, who just kind of tries to dump it in there, but he's pressured hard by WSU's defense. Number 22 picking it up there. That's Joey Vaughn. Back down to 21, who sends it up to Wilson. Wilson over to 21 once again, tries to take a shot on net, but it's stopped by Alexa Cool and just sent off. Rebound opportunity there for U of I, but they couldn't quite get it as Reed Mullen gains possession of the puck after a quick little move. Matthew Taylor can't quite get that pass. That's Wilson behind the net as he just tries to pass it out, but he's able to pass it to himself and recover well as he just sends the puck on net for Alexa Cool to send off to the corner. Keegan Lucas there pressuring alongside Matthew Taylor with some support from David Bushkin on the point. David Bushkin going a little lower than he probably should. But Lucas Robinson pressuring on defense, not letting that defense for U of I take a shot. David Bushkin on the boards there, able to throw U of I off the puck and rim it around for them once again, who takes a shot from the point. Lexi Cool doesn't quite know where the puck is, and U of I scores! Bobby Ludwig for the goal.
That's just a heads-up play there. Bobby Ludwig, the senior, showing why he leads this Idaho team for goals, leads them for assists, and leads them for points as well. That's his 10th goal of the season. Just finds that puck, lays out, just wrists it right past Alexi Cool and cuts the margin to only 2 goals. It's 4-2. Washington State still leading. But again, like I mentioned, a 4-1 lead is nothing in the ACHA. You got to score more goals if you want to win, and Idaho is going to make you sweat here throughout this game.
I told you going into that penalty, Smith, that WSU does not do well on those infamously. However, U of I sends the puck out of their own zone for Alexi Cool to step pretty far out of net and pass it up to Luke Jurgensen on the opposite blue line. Luke Jurgensen tried to pass it there to Van Rayner, but didn't quite connect on it. U of I once again has the puck, but Cole Carlson able to kind of trip him up and throw him off of it, while U of I just throws Cole Carlson's stick away, and they're going to make a regroup happen here. It looks like they just kind of dumped the puck over to Keegan Lucas, who's able to kind of take his time on this and pass it up to Cole Carlson. Cole Carlson takes a shot, but it's going to be sent off for number 5, Clayton Lee, to pick up, but nobody can quite get it, as number 25, Sam Hembry, just sends the puck right on down to them. U of I picking it up on the boards there. That's going to be number 7, Hudson Gretzky, some name there. But U of I is going to send it up to Lex Ballard. Lex Ballard shoots from the point. Cole Carlson tries to get the rebound there, but couldn't quite get it. And the ref's going to blow the play dead.
Yeah, it looks like the goal just barely came off its pegs there, just kind of got pushed back a little bit. That's a bit of an interesting call there. You know, maybe Mahoney kind of kicked it out a little bit. There was a great opportunity there for Cole Carlson to possibly stuff that chance, a rebound that kicked off. It was a shot from Lex Ballard. Cole Carlson could have gone on his blade, could have really snuck it past Mahoney, didn't quite capitalize on it. That would have been Carlson's 18th goal of the year, but he doesn't quite get it. Cole Carlson, the captain of this team, he had 38 points in the regular season. He was really, really fun to watch.
4-2 WSU with 6 minutes left in the period. Number 9, Talon Smith, is going to get possession of the puck and try and skate it down ice, but is thrown off by Evan King, where number 18 tried to recover there with a rebound being sent into the opposite corner. Lex Ballard there recovering the puck from behind the net and trying to send it on down, but it looks like he just stops there, letting the forwards take it. Brandon Smith there following the guy behind the net. David Bushkin finally picking it up on the boards there, tries to send it off, but it's hit the post and just comes right off. Number 44, Wilson, trying to get it there, but can't quite connect on it as he just sends it on up to the WSU defense and back on into the zone. There's a battle there on the boards. Nobody really having possession of it. U of I just looking to try and hold off WSU from gaining it. But once again, they do, and Brandon Smith just sends it over to Ethan Maurer and on net, but nothing quite happens as it's sent off. U of I picking it up there, tried to make a connection to Beeler, but it looks like U of I is going to get a complete line change as Lex Ballard skates it into the zone, looking to make a point shot, and he shoots, but it's stopped by Mahoney.
I like that shot there from Lex Ballard. You skated in. You got a number of options. Maybe you could have passed it over, optioned it to somebody. You had Lucas Clark, who scored one of the 4 goals for Washington State tonight. You had him in there on the play as well. But I like that idea from Lex Ballard. Try and shoot, try and make something happen. Lex Ballard is leading all defensemen on Washington State 4 points. He's got 4 goals and 9 assists, so 13 points so far in the regular season. So I wouldn't shooters shoot. I would want him to take that shot.
Wyatt Perry there couldn't quite get the puck off of his stick. WSU is up 4-2 with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left as Idaho, I apologize. Sorry, that is number 3, Tanner Feely, tries to get possession of the puck, but WSU throws him off, and they're going to call, looks like interference on number 9, Lucas Robinson.
Like you said, Kate, the penalties are kind of what killed the Cougs in the long run. You saw Lex Ballard take a very obvious kind of hit to the head penalty earlier in this period. Now you got Lucas Robinson going for interference. And what happened last time? What happened the last time the Cougs were on the penalty kill? They got scored on and made it a 4-2 game. So I would not be surprised if U of I uses this power play to kind of take things back into their own hands.
Cole Carlson with almost a breakaway there. He skates it through 2 U of I players and gets a shot, and then he scores!
That was the definition of a changeup, a knuckle puck, as one might say. Cole Carlson, off the faceoff win, just turned on the jets, picked up that puck, skated it through the neutral zone, past the logo, into the zone, and he had 2 U of I Vandals there to try and take it away, and he showed why he is Captain Calgary, why he led the team in goals, led them in assists, led them in points. He shakes them both off, out in the slot, fired a shot, defensive sticks actually shut off the lane, and it just trickled past Mahoney, and now it's 5-2 Cougars.
If that, as a fan, does not get you excited for this game, I honestly don't know what will. WSU just kind of eating this puck, looking to kill this penalty, as there's 1 minute and 35 seconds left in this penalty with 4 minutes remaining in the period. The WSU, the Cougs, lead 5-2. U of I getting the puck, skating it kind of wide there on the boards, puts a shot on Alexi Cool, and he covers it pretty easily.
That was just a really gritty effort there from Reagan Graves, the junior from Idaho. He got muscles in on the near side. He's trying to shoulder off Keegan Lucas. Like we said, is a great defender on this Washington State roster. Is able to kind of push him off and just get that puck trickle on net. If you're Idaho, you just need to get pucks on net, because eventually one of them will get past Alexi Cole. You already have 2 so far tonight in the first period, about 4 minutes left in the frame, and so you just got to keep getting pucks on net like that.
Wilson takes this puck against, looks like it's Matthew Taylor, but nobody's going to quite get it in the neutral zone as U of I looks to make a regroup happen. Matthew Taylor pressuring this defense hard. Finally kind of throws him off there. U of I able to recover and make a D-to-D pass as they skate it down the ice. It's going to be number 21 as he's kind of thrown off, and WSU just sends it right on back down into their zone, making U of I skate a little bit as they get a change.
That was a good effort there from a pair of freshmen. Matthew Taylor was able to kind of hold up Desjardins, and then cleaning it up was Lex Ballard able to fire it back down ice.
Wilson skating with speed wide down this ice, and the puck is tipped on up into the rafters.
Again, you're seeing the rafters here at the Palouse Ice Rink kind of play a role. Sometimes when you fire a shot and it gets tipped up, it'll hit off the metal beams or off the ceiling. It's a really, really low ceiling compared to a lot of other ice rinks. And that's a factor that teams come into play here have to factor in. But both these teams, this is their home ice, so they are very familiar with this ice rink. So hopefully that's not too much of a factor for them in this matchup.
David Bushkin able to get the puck off the faceoff, but U of I's defense is able to keep it in and send it on back down. Number 5 there taking a shot on net, that's Clayton Lee, and Alexi Cool covers it as the defense kind of help him out.
Yeah, it was Lex Ballard kind of coming to his aid. That shot on goal, Alexi Cool, he probably didn't see where it was. It was lost somewhere in his pads. So he had the freshman Lex Ballard coming in to try and seal off behind, just make sure that puck did not go into the net. You know, that's the kind of thing you see a lot in the ACHA. If you want to stop goals, you have to make sure you got to prevent those trickling pucks from just getting past the goaltenders.
WSU pressuring hard there, the defense, but they're able to keep it in at the blue line. David Bushkin there trying to send the puck on out, but it's stopped by number 4, who keeps it in pretty easily. Finally, they're able to chip it out with 9 seconds left on this penalty kill and 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the period. 5-2 game, WSU. And U of I is just being thrown off this puck as Ludwig has it and is skating it down the ice, trying to make some moves happen here, but it's lost in his feet and one on the boards. However, it is number 3 there, Feely, who loses it in his feet for Evan King to get. Looks like ref is going to call offsides unless they touch up. I apologize. Evan King's stick is broken.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a slashing penalty against the University of Idaho. Like you mentioned, Evan King, his stick got broken. He's got slashed. So now with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left, the Cougs are basically going to be on the man advantage for the rest of this period in the first frame. 2 minutes, 12 seconds left in the first period. 5-2, Washington State leading. And if you can use this, if you really get special teams going, because I will say, the power play was what was kind of weak for the Cougs a lot of the season. They had so many power play opportunities last season, but couldn't capitalize. So spring games like this is where you experiment and figure out how to get your power play clicking.
Lex Ballard there on defense, passing it over to Luke Robinson, and out in front, That was a good play there for the power play. Cole Carlson, however, picking up the puck off that rebound, skating it all the way around the ice, tries to drop back to Lex Ballard, but he wasn't quite ready for it. Sends it on over to Van Rayner. He's going to carry the puck in, looking for a shot, and he makes it off the post. Goes off the boards. Cole Carlson picks it up and over to Lex Ballard, who just tries to send it on net, but it doesn't quite get there. Lucas Robinson picking it up behind the net, looking to make something happen, but can't quite get it as number 4 is just pressuring them off the puck left and right for U of I. Van Rayner there battling behind the net. Lucas Robinson there supporting. Lucas Robinson's going to pick it up and send it back on down for Van Rayner. Van Rayner out front to Keegan Lucas, but it's going to be tipped off, and Lex Ballard is going to battle it out with Lee. Ballard and Lee still going at it, and they're going to call Lex for a tripping. But Lee looked like he fell down on his own. Smith, what do you think of that call?
Clayton Lee, you deserve an Oscar because that was the most embellished call I've ever seen. Lex Ballard's stick was nowhere near tripping you up, but you lost your edge. You fall down to the ice. The ref must have been just saw out of the corner of his eye maybe and calls tripping for that. So now the man advantage is wiped away. It's 4-on-4 hockey, a very different version of the game. So I'll be interested to see how the remainder of this period kind of shakes out. But you got about a minute left in the first period, 5-2 Washington State leading.
You know, personally, I thought we were playing hockey and not soccer, but I must be sorely mistaken as number 25, Sam Embry, sends it off the post there. It's going to be picked up on the boards by Matthew Taylor and up to Keegan Lucas. D-to-D pass, and Keegan Lucas is going to send it off, but it's tipped and into the netting.
Washington State's worst enemy right now in this game has got to be the posts because there have been so many shots from Sam Embry, Van Rayner, Lucas Robinson, Keegan Luke. Everybody have had shots that have just tinged off the bar. Even David Bushkin had one where he was trying to push in on the near side. So they just keep getting beat by the post. So Braxton Mahoney has got to be thanking his 3 counterparts between the creases.
WSU is going to try and send it out front there. Lucas Robinson almost between the legs, but is not able to get it as the puck just is wide of the net. There is 30 seconds left in this period. 5-2 as Idaho skates it down the ice. Lucas Robinson is able to hit it, and he's going to skate it, looking to make a pass, but he's just maybe got to get this on net with 15 seconds left. He skates it around, tries to pass out to Keegan Lucas out front, but is not going to quite connect on it. Number 21 gains possession of the puck. It looks like they might not have enough time. There's 1 second left as they battle it out, and the period comes to an end.
Let me tell you, Kate, it may be spring, but this is some of the most exciting hockey we've seen from the Washington State Cougars and from the Idaho Vandals in a long time. This is incredibly fun to watch. It's 5-2 Washington State leading after goals from Lucas Clark, Sam Embry, Luke Jurgensen, Van Rayner, Cole Carlson, and then, of course, for Idaho, it was goals from Benton Wilson and then Bobby Ludwig. So this is a game that's going to shape up to be incredibly fascinating. And, you know, if you're new to club hockey and you're watching this broadcast for the first time, you must be thinking, wow, it's 5-2. It must be the end of the game, right? It must be in the third period. This is the first period of action here in men's Division II ACHA hockey, high-scoring games. And I do have to say, Kate, we sound like broken records all the time whenever we say it. Coach Lupinacci for the Washington State Cougs always says, how many goals do you need to win in the ACHA?
You need 5 to win in the ACHA.
And it is currently 5-2 Washington State leading. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that's all you need to see, folks. You can tune away. You can stop watching this game. But if you're Washington State, you are in a great spot right now. You put up 5 goals. You've hit your quota. So the question is, can you just surpass your quota and continue to pressure and continue to work? Because that's all that spring games really are meant for at the end of the day. It's not about necessarily winning, or it's all about trying to develop, get some guys in who maybe don't play as much, just mix up the lines a little bit, mix up the power play units as well. So just trying to figure out what kind of things you need to work on and adjust and experiment with before you come back for the regular season in the 2026-2027 season. So right now for the Cougs, you're looking pretty good after 20 minutes of action. 5-2, you're leading by 3. So right now, if you're a Washington State fan, you're feeling pretty good after the first period.
Honestly, I think a lot of the time you just have to remember that hockey is a game. This is club sports. They play for fun. And right now, out there, it looks like they're having fun and they're doing well. So as long as they keep up that momentum, they are going to be set for the second and third period.
Absolutely, Kay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second period. I mean, again, there's lots of you can build on here. Some good goals from some of your usual suspects. Sam Hembry, not Sam Hembry, but Jurgensen, Van Rainer, Cole Carlson. Sam Hembry actually got his first goal, as we mentioned, his first goal of the season. He had 7 assists, and he got his first goal of the season. So that's a huge, it's a great achievement for the senior alternate captain. This is his last year of hockey here at Washington State, so you're trying to go out on a good note. You have this game, and then you have 2 more games here at home later in the month in March against Gonzaga. There are 2 games there. So, there's not a lot of time left in the season, but if you're wanting to catch those games, we will also be broadcasting those on KUGR later in the year as well. But I mean, I'm excited to see how the next 40 minutes pans out.
Definitely. That is the end of the first period for us. We will catch you in the second, where Smith Slye will be on play-by-play and I will be on color. Don't go anywhere. We still have 2 more periods to play.
You are listening to a KUGR sports production.
Another rushing touchdown for what might be the best rushing quarterback in all of college football right now.
Your eyes and ears for every WSU sporting event.
What a play! What a kill by Brewstad!
Listen live to games on YouTube at KUGR Sports.
Underneath it, Johnstone makes the grab and wins the game. Washington State wins it 7-5. Logan Johnstone makes the snag.
And now, here are your hosts.
You're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR.
It is a 5-2 hockey game here at the Palouse Ice Rink going into the second period, and on play-by-play for this period will be Smith Slye.
Thank you, Kate. Like you mentioned, Kate, it is a 5-2 hockey game, about a minute and a half until puck drop here at the Palouse Ice Rink in beautiful Moscow, Idaho. And I mentioned it back in the first period, but it is a packed house tonight in the Palouse Ice Rink. A lot of Idaho fans, a lot of Washington State fans as well. They really show up for these spring games. It's nice out on the Palouse, but they're inside to watch this indoor hockey game. Men's Division II, ACHA, really, really exciting hockey. And the first period was just a taste of what's to come here in this matchup. It was kicked off by Benton Wilson for U of I, getting the first goal of the game, and then responding right away was Lucas Clark for the Washington State Cougars, the junior out of Pullman, Washington, a Pullman native. And then it was Sam Hembry, Luke Jerkinson, Van Rayner, and Cole Carlson getting on the tally as well to make it, to put up 5 goals for Washington State. And then it was Bobby Ludwig for the University of Idaho to get their second tally of the evening. So again, 5-2 here moving into the second period. And Kate, what exactly did we see in that first period of action to make it a 5-2 hockey game?
You know, honestly, it just looked like they were having a bit of fun out there. They were just getting pucks on net. We saw it hit the post quite a few times, which was very entertaining to see. But, you know, WSU just looks like they want it out there. They just look like they're driving for that puck, making smart backdoor passes, getting those rebounds, and just, you know, like you said, they're getting those gritty goals. U of I is kind of matching them a little bit, giving them a little pressure in the first period, kind of throwing them off that puck, doing a good job of that. But it didn't last long as WSU now maintains control.
And usually in these spring games, you see a lot of players that you normally don't see in the regular season. But in this game thus far for the Cougs, it's kind of been the usual suspects getting on the score sheet. You got Luke Jerkinson, you got Van Rayner, you got Cole Carlson, and then 2 unusual suspects, Sam Hembry and Lucas Clark. Sam Hembry actually got his first goal of the season, which he had 7 assists coming into the game, and finally got his first goal. And then Lucas Clark got his second goal of the season. So there's 2 guys who don't necessarily score all that often. But like you said, the Cougs are playing very, very gritty hockey, and that's how you're going to beat the University of Idaho, and that's how you're going to beat a lot of teams in men's Division II club hockey like this. It's got to be gritty goals, and there's no one better than that than David Bushkin, the freshman phenom for Washington State. It's interesting because he will have some highlight reel phenomenal goals where he just goes over the shoulder, just snipes it past the goaltender, and then he'll have garbage goals. He'll have goals that are kind of just muscling in, just trying to sneak it past the goaltender, and that's what makes him such a great player for the Cougs. And in the regular season, he had 19 goals and 6 assists. He was 3rd place on the team for points overall, and it's because he's able to play a combination of that gritty kind of garbage hockey and that kind of just superstar freshman phenom-esque hockey. And if you can get a good balance of the two, you'll be in a really good spot to compete in men's Division II.
Definitely, WSU needs to keep up the energy this period. You know, after a break, it's easy to get tired. It's easy to give up thinking that this is not a real kind of game for them. This is just a spring game. This is just to get reps and practice in. But, you know, they still want to win this. There's still the Battle of the Palouse, and there's still competition here.
Van Rayner and Joey Vaughn go eye to eye at the face-off dot. They drop the puck, and period number 2 here at the Palouse Ice Rink is officially underway. Let's get it on. Keegan Lucas will fire it down ice. It's played onto the blade of Desjardins for the Idaho Vandals. He'll feed it across for Vaughn. He's surveying his options, feeds it through the neutral zone, tipped off the stick of Gretzky. Not Wayne Gretzky, but Hudson Gretzky, wearing number 7 for the Idaho Vandals. And now it's Benton Wilson pirouetting back into his own zone. 19.5 left in the second frame. 5-2, Washington State leading. Sam Hembry will track it down in his own end behind the net of Alexi Cool, fires it down ice. No icing because of the penalty. Lex Ballard behind the glass in the sin bin after he had a tripping penalty, which was not really a tripping penalty, on Clayton Lee back at the very waning stages of the first period. And now it's Desjardins parked behind his own cage. Go backhand it now for Benton Wilson, who has one of the 2 goals for Idaho. He chips it back onto the stick of Desjardins, back in their own zone. Cougs trying to pin him down, but here comes Joey Vaughn, who will just fire it into the zone. Tracking it down, Keegan Lucas in the corner, fires it off the boards, and now onto the stick of Cole Carlson, team captain. Captain Calgary gets it to Brandon Smith. Here he comes on the near side. He shoots. It's a pad save from Mahoney. Now Van Rainer with the rebound opportunity, tries to center it, but now it's taken away by Idaho. Spits out to Sam Henry at the blue line, fired through bodies, tipped on net, just wide. The stick of Van Rainer can't tip it on net, and now Cole Carlson to clean up in the near corner. He'll move out to center ice. What are his options? Backhands it onto the stick of Keegan Lucas, freshman defenseman, out to the slot for Van Rainer, slap chance, off a stick, into the netting. We'll have a face-off in the Vandal zone.
There has been a few times where I've noticed that WSU is holding onto the puck for just maybe a second longer than they should. They need to get these pucks off quick and get them on net when Mahoney is not expecting it.
So the power play against Lex Ballard expires. He just will head right back onto the bench, and taking the face-off for Washington State, it's Cole Carlson. Pardon me, that was Evan King, the freshman from Seattle, Washington. Behind the cage, it's number 5, Clayton Lee for Idaho. Evan King battles with him, and now it's in the slot for Brandon Smith. Back to Evan King, who whiffs on a shot, and it spits onto the stick of Brandon Smith, the senior. He's shoved into the boards by number 9, that's Talon Smith. And coming to his aid is number 3 for Idaho, taken away by Evan King, the freshman. Spits it onto the stick of Reed Mullen at the blue line. He dances around, he has it taken away. Here comes an opportunity. All alone, Reagan Graves, the junior, trying to put a shot on net, and he can't get to go. Yes, he does! Feeds it 5-hole through the legs of Alexi Cool, and now it's 5-3. Vandals, Reagan Graves does it himself.
You know, it's a little unfortunate to see Alexi Cool kind of hanging his head a little there. That was an easy goal there by number 10. But I apologize. That's just kind of something that the defense need to stop early on, and Reed Mullen couldn't quite get it, and they just ultimately capitalized on that.
We mentioned it before, Kate, that a 2-3 goal lead is not enough in the ACHA, and Idaho is showing why early on in the early goings of the second frame. As off the draw, Lex Ballard draws back into his own zone and fires it into the Idaho half. Going to track it down, Desjardins overskated it, and now Matthew Taylor's going to fight with him behind the cage at the goal line. Coming up with it is Desjardins. He backhands it off the boards, tracking it down Lex Ballard, freshman defenseman. He'll fire it on net that hits off the pad and post, and they're unable to keep it in. Lex Ballard brought it in off sides and touched it up himself, so they'll get kicked out to the foyer, and they'll have to have a neutral zone faceoff.
WSU needs to see this as kind of empowerment and not as discouragement. As they do want to win this game, they still have a 2-goal lead with 17 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in this period, but they can't be hanging their heads. They got to keep this energy up and dig deep.
Matthew Taylor and Benton Wilson went to the face-off dot, and Idaho won it and pushed right into the Washington State zone. They try and center it, but it's taken away by Lex Ballard. Here comes an opportunity. Ballard, along with Wyatt Perry, gets it onto his stick. He overskated his own handle, spins around, kicks it out for Matthew Taylor, who couldn't quite field it on the blade. And here comes Benton Wilson with an opportunity, trying to fend off 3 Cougs. Past the logo, near side blue line. He'll have to just pirouette back into the neutral zone. He'll fire into the zone. Tips off the stick of Lex Ballard, and tracking it down is Ethan Maurer, the defenseman out of Bainbridge Island. He'll feed it through the neutral zone, right onto the stick of Talon Smith, who now feeds it onto number 4. He'll fire it through the neutral zone. Lucas Clark to play it. He's got it on his stick, brings it in on the near side. What are his options? Fires a shot right off the shin pad of number 4 for Idaho. That definitely stung. Keeping it in, it's Sam Henry. Fires it across for Keegan Lucas in the corner. D-to-D pass right there. As Keegan Lucas gets pinned against the boards by Talon Smith, but he comes up with it. What are his options? Looking for someone to pass to. Ends up shoveling it out to Sam Henry at the blue line. From well out, fires a shot. Blocker saved by Mahoney. He punches it aside. And Wyatt Perry to clean it up, tried to smack it on net, but it's cleared all the way down ice. Sam Henry has to track it down in his own quadrant. He pirouettes and shakes off Reagan Graves, who just had that goal. And now Cole Carlson will break it in on the far side, moves out to center ice, fires a shot off the glove of Mahoney, but he contains his own rebound, puts the glove over the top of it, melts it down, and we'll have a face-off in the Idaho zone with 16 minutes left in the second period, 5-3. Washington State still leading.
Right now, it's looking like U of I is having a little more energy. They're gaining possession of the puck. They're throwing WSU off the puck and doing a good job of that, not letting them maintain it really well and getting shots on net. It's going to be important to see how this kind of plays out going into the rest of the period with the 2-goal lead for WSU.
Washington State won the draw on the near face-off circle. Jurgensen went to track it down, but ended up chipping it out of play. So now it's Van Rainer heading to the dot again. Wins it to Cole Carlson, fires a shot right into the glove of Braxton Mahoney, who makes the save at his eyes, and will do it again, the third face-off on the left side of the Idaho zone. 16 minutes left in the frame, 5-3, Washington State leading. Van Rainer opposed by Tanner Feely. As Idaho wins the draw, and now it's going to be Luke Adams for Idaho. He'll skate it in on the gout, fires a shot right into the leather, the glove of Alexi Kuhl, who squeezes it, holds on to it, and now we'll have a face-off in the Cougar quadrant. 15 minutes, 54 seconds left, so basically 16 minutes left in period number 2. It's 5-3, Washington State leading by only 2 goals. And again, it'll be Feely and Van Rainer at the dots. Cougs win it, and Keegan Lucas gets it on to Cole Carlson. Here he comes with an odd man rush. Here's a toe drag move out in front. Backhand shot, swallowed up by Mahoney. He covers it and makes a save to deny Captain Calgary.
You know, that was kind of an instance there where you just have to get the puck off your stick. You know, you're making a rebound opportunity, if not for others, then for yourself. You know, too many moves, to try to get fancy can easily be shut down.
And Cole Carlson had the last goal for the Cougs, the 5th goal of the night. It was his 18th overall in the season. He had 17 goals and 21 assists at the end of the regular season. As off the draw, here come the Vandals. It's Max Beeler, who gets shouldered down to the ice by Keegan Lucas. He shoves him off it, and coming to his aid is Evan King. They'll try and fight for it. Leaks onto the stick of Brandon Smith, the senior. He'll feed it now for the freshman, David Bushkin. Here he comes, one-on-one. Here's a shot right off the blocker of Mahoney, who gets the save. As David Bushkin was bullied down to the ice by number 4 for Idaho, it leaked onto the glove of Mahoney, who covers it, and will force a face-off in his own zone. But a good scoring opportunity for the freshman phenom, David Bushkin, but he gets shut down by Braxton Mahoney, the freshman.
You know, coming into this period, like you said, David Bushkin just drives for that puck. He gets gritty in there, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to play in this game, whether he wants it and whether he's going to drive deep and get those goals that we've seen him get in the past.
Idaho wins the draw off to left of Mahoney. They send it down ice for icing, as it was Lucas Robinson tracking it down, and will pull it all the way back into the Idaho zone. We'll do it again and have another face-off. 15 minutes left in period number 2. Washington State still leading 5-3. At the face-off dot, it's Matthew Taylor. He'll go chin to chin with Benton Wilson, the senior. Cougs win it, spit it out. To number 21, Reed Mullen tried to fire a shot, went through bodies. Now Lucas Clark centering backhand feed out in front. No one was there except for the Vandals, and here they come. Benton Wilson chips it into the zone. He'll go track down his own pass. In the corner, he has to go shoulder to shoulder with Reed Mullen, who takes it away. What a move from Mullen to take that puck away. And Lucas Clark fires the pass through to the neutral zone, but it's picked off by number 4. Gets it onto the stick of Beeler, who just fires it in. And now Lucas Robinson in his own zone. He'll reset. Here come the Cougs with an odd man rush. What will they do? Lucas Robinson, the defenseman, fires a shot right off the foot of number 4. He was limping a little bit after that. That definitely hurts. And Matthew Taylor will track it down behind the cage of Mahoney. Desjardins fires it down into the near corner. Lucas Robinson tracking it down for Washington State. He's got 9 assists so far this year. No goals. Looking for that first one here. Lucas Clark out in front. A slap chance, but the defensive sticks shut off the lane. Lucas Clark will backhand it out to White Perry at the blue line. Now gives it for Lucas Robinson. He'll fire a shot through bodies, goes wide. Braxton Mahoney kind of kicked the pad out, but didn't have to make a save as that puck is chipped up and into the body of Cole Eastman on the bench for Washington State. So they'll blow it dead, and we'll see where they put the face-off here with 14 minutes and 10 seconds left in period number 2, 5-3, Washington State leading.
So many great scoring opportunities there in that last play. You know, the puck was moving, it was getting deep, you know, people were getting pucks, they were getting them on net, and that's kind of what we need to keep seeing in this period from WSU.
Cole Carlson, right off the draw, moved out to center ice and fired a wrister right into the glove of Braxton Mahoney, who makes a phenomenal save. I will say he has given up 5 goals, but he's been making some really great saves like that to deny Cole Carlson. On the draw, Van Rainer wins it, spits it out for Robinson. Gives it off for Lex Bauer. Fired a shot right off the shin pad of Reagan Graves. And cleaning up, Jurgensen tries to clear it out. And now Lex Bauer fighting for it at the blue line. Lost in the states of number 3, Tanner Feely. They'll push it back into their own end. In the neutral zone, picking it up was Van Rainer, and here he comes. Backhands it onto the stick of Cole Carlson, team captain. Far side, fires a shot. Defensive body ticked it away off the backboards, and Jurgensen out in front, tries to stuff it, doesn't work. Cleaned up by Reagan Graves. And tracking it down on the far wing, it's Luke Jurgensen. Spits it out to Ethan Maurer. Now to the goal line for Cole Carlson. He comes up with it on his blade. He gets shoved into the boards by Feely, He's bullied down to the ice. They're still fighting for this puck, but coming up with it, Van Rayner, the alternate captain, senior, who's confirmed that he's coming back next year for another season. As a shot from the blue line tips through bodies and right onto the crease for Mahoney, who sees it and saves it and will force the face-off with 13 minutes left in the frame. 5-3, Washington State leading.
Like you said, Van Rayner is staying for another season. It doesn't look like WSU's team is going to be changing too significantly, which is kind of nice to see as they continue to develop and as they continue to become a stronger team. You know, 4th seed in the playoffs this year, could be 3rd, could be 2nd next year, maybe even 1st. It's so exciting to see how this team's going to develop in the offseason and in the spring.
Evan King forced a turnover, and now at the blue line, Keegan Lucas lost possession of it. Now here comes Desjardins for the Vandals. Tries to put on a move, but he's shouldered off it by Sam Hembry, who forces it into the corner. Evan King to track it down, tried to backhand it for Sam Hembry, but he wasn't there to field the pass. And now Desjardins to the slot. It's picked off by Evan King. What a play to turn over that puck. Kept in the zone by the Vandals. Lost in the skates and is cleaned up by Bobby Ludwig for Idaho. He turns it right over to Keegan Lucas on the near side of the Washington State zone. In the far corner, Sam Hembry backhanded off the stick of Brandon Smith. And now in the neutral zone, picking it up is Bobby Ludwig. Has one of the goals so far tonight for Idaho. Batted down by Talon Smith. Fires a shot well wide. The glove of Alexi Kuhl reached out to try and make a save, but he didn't have to, as the Cougs are able to clear this puck with 12 minutes left in the frame, and they're still leading 5-3. And here's a turnover with Brandon Smith out in front. A shot over the head of Braxton Mahoney. Hits off the backboards. That one had a little bit of mustard on it, and Mahoney gets lucky. Doesn't have to make a save. Tied up in the near boards. Keegan Lucas fires it through bodies well wide. Tracking it down, David Bushkin, the freshman, 3rd on the team for points. Talon Smith backhands it around. Sealing it off is Reed Mullen, the defenseman, junior out of Kirkland, Washington. He'll backhand it behind the cage. 2 Cougs, 1 Vandal go hip to hip with each other. And now it spits out past Keegan Lucas, who could not seal off the blue line, and he ends up having to backhand it further. The Cougs go off for a mini change. Now on the stick of Talon Smith for Idaho, behind the cage of Mahoney. Idaho trying to set something up. He's pestered and harassed by Wyatt Perry, a 2-way player, plays forward and plays defense. He'll do whatever they need him to do. And it's taken away by Lucas Clark in the zone. Here he comes, plays it off the boards to himself in the near corner. What are his options? Backhand and centering pass through bodies. No one was there to field it. Lucas Robinson, a clapper right into the chest of Braxton Mahoney, who swallows it up and will force another face-off with 11 minutes left in the period. 5-3, Washington State leading.
I don't know about you, Smith, but I seem to be mainly looking left as WSU is able to keep it in the Vandals zone and is doing a great job of maintaining puck control and keeping pucks down low and even on net. They have so many amazing opportunities that they just are missing by, half an inch. And if they can get those, they're going to get this lead even higher.
You'll hear hockey coaches and players say it all the time. You got to tilt the ice to be able to win, and that's what the Cougs are doing right now, tilting the ice towards the net of Mahoney, making it really hard for them to get out of the zone as Lucas Clark has it out in front. On his backhand, shovels it across for Lucas Robinson. Fires a shot, glove save. Mahoney. Robinson gets denied by the leather of the freshman, Braxton Mahoney. I mentioned it before, Braxton Mahoney putting on a bit of a clinic in the crease so far tonight, even though he's given up 5 goals. The shots that have been high quality, high danger opportunities, he's been able to get some piece of leather to it to be able to make a save. Off the draw, it's Clayton Lee picking it up for Idaho. Played off the boards onto the blade and skates of Luke Adams. Plays it through the neutral zone for Beeler, who just slaps it in. Behind the cage, coming out to play it was Alexi Kuhl. Fired around onto the stick of Cole Carlson. He lost in, turned it over to Desjardins, who fires it across for Beeler on the far wing. He'll fire it through bodies, and it goes wide. Cleaning it up will be Lucas Robinson, the defenseman for Washington State. He backhands it off the boards to team captain Cole Carlson. He's harassed by Desjardins, but somehow he got to the neutral zone, but fired right back in by Idaho. Cleaning it up in his own half, it's Lucas Robinson. Like I mentioned, 9 assists to match his jersey number. On the far wing, on his blade, he's got 2 Idaho Vandals trying to take it away. Fed it through for Cole Carlson, wide of his stick, but he comes up with it nonetheless. At the blue line, dancing around, dancing through bodies. He's tripped up. Will there be a call? No call. The arm of the official will not raise as Cole Carlson was very flagrantly brought down to the ice, but they break it right back into the zone. Van Rayner, the alternate captain, out in front, through bodies, across for Carlson, who was trying for a slap chance, doesn't get it, and now Idaho tries to move it out. Ticking around, ping-ponging off bodies, and now the Cougs have it in their own zone. Ethan Maurer plays off the boards for Luke Jurgensen with an odd man opportunity. No, it leaks just wide for icing. Not sure why they made that call there. Luke Jurgensen has his hands up. That was one of the weirdest calls I have seen here in the ACHA with about 10 minutes left here in the second period.
You know, after that tripping call, it seemed like the ref went and talked to Lupinacci for a second, kind of saying, that's my bad, that's my bad. And Lupinacci, you know, I'm no lip reader, but he seemed to say, yes, it was, but kind of laughed it off. Seems to be some interesting calls here being made by the referees.
And Alexi Kuhl's day is done. He's been subbed out for Cole Eastman. Off the draw, it's Cole Carlson, backhand opportunity right into the shoulder of Braxton Mahoney, who's able to hold on to it. And they'll have another face-off here in the Idaho quadrant. 9 minutes and 45 seconds left. 5-3, Washington State leading. And as I mentioned, Cole Eastman in net now for Washington State.
Looks like WSU is just trying to switch goalies halfway through the game, you know, give them both some ice time, let them both develop a little bit in the spring season as they can both get some practice.
Cole Carlson wins the scrum behind the cage of Mahoney. He backhands it for Luke Jurgensen, the 6-year student from MSU. He's trying to fend off 2 Idaho Vandals, and he's able to spit it onto the stick of Cole Carlson. Team captain from the corner out in front for Venton Rayner. Shot, tipped off bodies, and over the head of Mahoney. But cleaning it up, it's Cole Carlson again on the near wing. Spits it out for Ethan Maurer, fired through bodies off the blocker of Mahoney. Out in front, a mad dash. Who will come up with it? It's Van Rayner, the alternate captain. He backhands it off the boards and cleaned up by Cole Carlson. Tries to fend off 2 Idaho Vandals, and coming to his aid is Van Rayner. Gets it onto the stick of Luke Jurgensen. Spits it out for Ethan Maurer at the blue line. He'll give it back to Jurgensen on the far wing. Out in front to the slot, and it's steered aside by Idaho, but cleaned up by Lex Ballard. Turns and fires a shot that hit off a body, and school will kick into the far wing. Carlson trying to fend off 2 Vandals, and coming up with it is Bobby Ludwig as he got shouldered and shoved down to the ice. Ludwig will chip it into the zone. It's paddled away by Cole Eastman. Here come the Cougs in transition. Lex Ballard with an opportunity past the logo, past the blue line, near side. What will he do? He'll stop and start on the near corner, and it's cleared aside by Idaho. Now Max Beeler backhands it through the neutral zone, down ice. Sam Hembry is going to have to track it down. He'll backhand it around for Brandon Smith for the Cougs. Washington State wearing their crimson jerseys, Idaho wearing their black and gold jerseys. As Idaho tries to steer it through the neutral zone, picked off by Evan King, the freshman from Seattle. He'll give it now for Keegan Lucas, played off the boards. Into the zone, trying to connect with Brandon Smith. He leaves it for Evan King with an opportunity. Behind the cage of Mahoney, tries to get a pass. Gets it on his blade, will backhand and leave it for David Bushkin in the corner. He picks it up. David Bushkin, the freshman phenom, the best freshman on this Washington State team. 3rd place on the squad for points overall. Brandon Smith in the near corner. Surveys his options, thinks about it. Whiffs on a pass, and here comes Reagan Graves. He has a goal so far tonight. Here he comes trying to fend off Brandon Smith. Fires a shot, paddled away by Cole Eastman. Picks up his own rebound. And it's turned right over to Brandon Smith, the senior. Here he comes with a head of steam, and he breaks into the zone. He's got David Bushkin with him, along with Evan King, but he loses possession of it and turns it over to Reagan Graves, who gets, or pardon me, that's Desjardins, who gets absolutely leveled by Evan King and David Bushkin. And it's cleared down ice. Evan King to track it down. 7.5 left in period number 2. Washington State leading by 2 goals. It's 5-3 here at the Palouse Ice Rink. A packed out crowd here tonight as Lucas Clark forces a turnover in the near corner of the O-zone. Pass across through the slot to Wyatt Perry. Can't connect on it. And now cleaning up, Keegan Lucas, who just barely missed a hip check from Clayton Lee. He stays on his feet and is going to try and push this puck out to the blue line, but he loses it in his own skates, and it's cleared down ice by Idaho. They survive that opportunity. As this puck is iced, we'll drag it all the way back into the Idaho end. It's 6 minutes and 54 seconds left in the frame. 5-3, Washington State still leading.
You know, this period has, compared to the last, has been, I mean, somewhat boring. It's mainly in Idaho's zone. WSU is keeping control of it very well, and even when it comes into the neutral zone, WSU is right back in Idaho's. Idaho just does not look like the strong team right now, and right now WSU is just giving them the what for.
Matthew Taylor will square off with Reagan Graves at the face-off circle off to the left of Mahoney, and Idaho wins it. Gets it on the stick of Desjardins, who has to pirouette for a moment. Tried to connect with Vaughn, but it doesn't quite work as Robinson goes shoulder to shoulder with Graves in the neutral zone, and it's pushed into the Cougar quadrant. Lost in the bodies of a number of Cougs and Vandals falling down on it. Something you see a lot in club hockey, a lot of sloppy hockey at times. As this puck gets hit off the official, that's something else you see in club hockey a lot. Officials not getting out of the way. They don't get paid enough for that. As at the logo, it's Lucas Clark. He'll break it into the zone, up the guts, shakes off a man. They'll stop and start. Fires it in further at the goal line. Tied up, Matthew Taylor was tied up with Talon Smith, and he's still tied up with him here at the goal line. Matthew Taylor gets shoved off by Desjardins and cleaning it up. Talon Smith, he'll skate it through for Idaho. At the red line, blue line, taken away by Reed Mullen. And Lucas Robinson cleans it up. Fires it down ice. Here's an odd man opportunity for Matthew Taylor, the freshman, back from his probation, and he can't get that to go. As Desjardins will clean it up. Matthew Taylor was tangled up with number 36, Luke Adams. They both collide down to the ice. Matthew Taylor's slow to get up. His helmet is off, and hopefully he's okay down there on the ice.
From the looks of it, it looked as though if Matthew Taylor was going down, he was taking that U of I player down with him.
And Matthew Taylor just chucked his helmet into the bench for Washington State. Definitely a little banged up there, probably rung his bell a bit. And he'll take a seat on the bench. Hopefully you'll see him coming back into this game. We mentioned it, he took a leave from the team about midway through the season, had to get his academics back under control. But now for the spring game, eligibility doesn't quite matter as much for spring games, so he's able to come back and play and enjoy the game that he loves. As off the face-off bat is Lex Ballard backhanding it, trying to get into the zone, but it's taken away by Idaho. At the blue line, they're stood up by Washington State. Spits onto the stick of Lex Ballard. Here he comes past the logo. Tried to feed a pass, and he picks it up himself. Through the skates, fires a shot, defensive stick, steered it up and into the roof for a stoppage of play. We'll have a face-off in the Idaho end. 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in period number 2. It's 5-3, Washington State leading. Off to the left of Braxton Mahoney, the face-off. They drop the puck. Van Rayner wins the draw. Yet again, he's been doing that all night. Pirouetting Cole Carlson on the far wing, fires across for Lex Ballard. Here's a shot off the blocker of Mahoney. Makes a great save to punch it away. Luke Jorgensen backhands it behind the cage. Cleaned up number 4. He'll backhand it off the boards. Cleaning it up, Van Rayner. He has it on his stick. Moves out in front. Will he fire a shot on net? He tried to, but it hit off the skates of a player. Here's a rebound opportunity. Shot that hits off the body of Mahoney. Cleaning it up. It's Cole Carlson with the puck. Fires a shot over the head of Mahoney and off the backboards. Luke Jorgensen cleans it up in the near corner. He'll backhand it out for Lex Ballard at the blue line. He tries to shake off Gretzky as it's cleared down ice into the Cougar zone. They'll have to clean it up. Ethan Maurer goes D-to-D with Lex Ballard. He whiffs on that pass opportunity. And now here's an opportunity for Luke Adams, for Idaho. Trying to connect with Gretzky, doesn't quite work. And now Van Rayner has to clean it up. Off the boards, around for number 5, Clayton Lee. He'll fire it out in front, steered aside by Cole Eastman, who poke checks it away. And here comes Lex Ballard. Fires a pass for Cole Carlson. They break into the zone. He's got Jurgensen, he's got Van Rayner. What are his options? Poke checked away. Cole Carlson turns it over to Idaho. Got a little selfish there, and he's made to pay. Here comes Benton Wilson, one of the goal scorers. Tries to push it on net. Steered aside by Cole Eastman. Again, using the paddle to keep him out of the crease. Now loosen the skates of Van Rayner. Jurgensen gets it, backhands it into the neutral zone. Van Rayner can't track it down. It's almost taken away by Reagan Graves, and it finally is. Graves, who's one of the goal scorers tonight for the University of Idaho. We got 4 minutes and 14 seconds left in the frame. 5-3, Washington State leading. Here comes Keegan Lucas, playing catch with Sam Hembry, his partner on defense. Played through the neutral zone, batted down by Reagan Graves. Fires it right off the body of the official. Like we said, they refuse to get out of the way sometimes. Here comes Evan King, the freshman from Seattle, out in front, fires a shot, off bodies, never made it to the net, and it's steered out to the foyer, cleared away by Idaho. Washington State gets off for a change. Keegan Lucas fired it in right off the back, right off the numbers of Benton Wilson. Now Idaho is going to slow things down here, try and set something up. Shouldered on into the boards by David Bushkin. They'll fire it down ice with about 3 minutes and a half left in period number 2. 5-3, Washington State leading. Here's a turnover in the zone. Reagan Graves fires a shot, sealed off by the body of Cole Eastman. Out in the slot, Reagan Graves, another shot, kick saved by Cole Eastman. He gets back-to-back saves to deny one of the goal scorers for Idaho. Desjardins, a shot from the blue line, went wide, ticked off some bodies. Now Clayton Lee to clean it up, fires it to the slot, no one was there. Keegan Lucas trying to clear it out, and it won't work, but it's kicked up by Beeler, who just fires a knuckle puck right into the glove and leather of Cole Eastman, who snags it, snares it, and forces a face-off in the Cougar quadrant.
There's been a little bit of a change of pace here as the Vandals have started to pick it up a little. We now see more shots on Cole Eastman. I think these are some of his first shots of the game so far with 3 minutes left in this period. WSU is kind of starting to slow down, and Idaho's picking it up.
Off the draw, Idaho wins it. Desjardins from well out, well wide of the pad and blocker of Cole Eastman, and cleaning it up, Lucas Robinson backhands it around the boards. Evan King tries to clean it up. Gets it on the stick of David Bushkin, who moves into the neutral zone, taken away by Ludwig, one of the other goal scorers for Idaho, the boys in black and yellow. It's Clayton Lee. Errant pass to Joey Vaughn. David Bushkin tried to pick it off, but Idaho survives nonetheless and fire it into the zone. Lucas Robinson cleans it up in his own quadrant. He'll get onto the stick of Brandon Smith, taken away by Clayton Lee, fired it in just offsides, but the Cougs touch up. Here they come. Fired right off the skates of Bobby Ludwig, who just will push it in further. Eastman comes out of the crease to play it, but he can't get on his blade. Desjardins tries to fire it on net, but the stick of Reed Mullen steers it aside. And now Lucas Robinson tries to spin off of number 3. That's Tanner Feely. And the Cougs cleared all the way down ice. Going back to play, Talon Smith. He's got it in his own zone. Fires it for Desjardins. He'll bumper pass it right back to Talon Smith. Trying to shake off Evan King, and here come the Idaho Vandals, but they turn right over to Lucas Robinson in his own quadrant. At the neutral zone, at the logo, David Bushkin gloves down this pass. He gets taken down to the ice by Talon Smith. No call. Here's a shot on goal off the post, off the pad of Mahoney, and it's cleared all the way down ice with about 2 minutes left in the frame. This will not be icing. Must have touched somebody in the neutral zone before it got down there. And now Lex Ballard fires a pass across for Lucas Robinson, well wide of his stick. And this will also not be icing. Lucas Robinson just able to beat it out. And cleaning it up is Matthew Taylor, the freshman. Drops it off for Lucas Clark in the corner. He tries to shake off Talon Smith. He gets shoved into the boards. Out in front, a shot, loose. Can they make a save on it? Yes, they did, just barely. Mahoney's able to keep that puck from going past the line. Just kind of tickled the goal line. And definitely Lupinacci very frustrated about that one.
Looked as though it almost went in there, if not went in, and Idaho pulled it back out. But it looks like the ref is talking to them, maybe trying to see what actually happened. I don't know, but they're not going to call that a goal. Right now, it just kind of seems like both teams are killing time. They're waiting for this period to be over, waiting to go into the third, which is unfortunate because it is who wants this game. You know, if Idaho's pressuring hard and WSU is giving up, then we're going to see scoring opportunities. But it's just kind of, the puck is floating around and guys are kind of standing back and watching it.
Idaho wins the draw, but Matthew Taylor takes it right back, fires it around the boards. Lucas Clark, the junior from Pullman, tracking it down in the near wing, turns it right over to number 7. That's Gretzky for the Idaho Vandals. We mentioned not Wayne Gretzky, but Hudson Gretzky, a different Gretzky in both skill level and name. And it's fired around the boards for Lucas Clark, who cleans it up. Backhands it onto the stick of Lex Ballard at the blue line. He'll push in just a little bit, fires it through bodies, tick time around. They shoot, they score, cleaning it up. Matthew Taylor scores a goal, makes it 6-3 with a minute left in period number 2.
You know, it's very possible that I spoke too soon because that was a great play by WSU and Matthew Taylor to come back and get on the board.
And you'd mentioned it, Kate, that this period was looking a little bit boring in comparison to the first period. There were 7 goals. 7 goals scored in the first period, and then there was only 1 so far in the second period, and now they finally get their second one as Matthew Taylor is able to clean up that rebound opportunity and stuff it, as Lex Ballard is very obviously tripped up here by Hudson Gretzky, as the Idaho Vandals touch up, and now the Cougs are going to have a man advantage with about a minute left on the clock, and we'll see if they can't capitalize on the man advantage.
Very obvious tripping there. It kind of looked like every single ref's hand went up at the same time, along with a few players there on the ice and in the crowd.
Less than a minute left to play here at the Palouse Ice Rink in period number 2. The Cougs are leading 6-3 as Van Rayner will go eye to eye with Reagan Graves, who has one of the goals tonight for Idaho. Off the draw, Idaho wins it, tries to clear it out. Lex Ballard will try and seal it off, and he is just barely able to, but it hit off the body of Reagan Graves and up into the Cougar bench, right into the lap of Alexi Kuhl, who, as we mentioned, came out of this game about midway through the period. So he got his reps for the day, and now it's Cole Eastman taking over for him in the crease. And they're trying to sort out where they'll put this face-off. Lex Ballard arguing that it should be in the Idaho zone, and it will be in the Idaho zone, off to the left of Braxton Mahoney. Cougs moving right to left, Idaho moving left to right. As off the face-off, Cole Carlson has it at the blue line. Pass across to Sam Hembury in the near wing. Fired across to Lex Ballard for a one-time opportunity, but just doesn't get the blade on it. And he has to fire it across for Keegan Lucas in the near corner. Moves to the near wing, will spit it out for Sam Hembury at the blue line. Pass across for Cole Carlson, unable to field that properly, but he picks it up nonetheless. Behind the cage of Mahoney, surveys his options. Looking for someone to pass, who will leave it for Keegan Lucas, the defenseman. He spins away from Desjardins, spins away again, and will hand it off to Lex Ballard at the blue line. Across for Sam Hembury, a clapper, he scores! Sam Hembury, an absolute howitzer that tips off the stick of Cole Carlson. He's got his second of the night. It's 7-3.
Huge game here tonight for Sam Hembury, an assistant captain. getting 2 goals so far in this very exciting game as WSU leads 7-3.
It was just an absolutely beautiful shot from Sam Hembree at the blue line, but unfortunately it does tip off the stick of Cole Carlson, so Captain Calgary gets his second goal of the evening and makes it a 7-3 hockey game. As off the draw at center ice, there's about 8 seconds left in the frame. Here comes the Cougs trying for a last-minute tally. A shot from Cole Carlson right into the glove. Save made by Braxton Mahoney. And we'll have another face-off here in the Idaho zone with 2.4 seconds left on the clock. Like we mentioned, 7-3, Washington State leading. They have 2 seconds here to get a shot off and possibly get something past Mahoney to make it 8-3. Van Rainer at the face-off circle going across from Bobby Ludwig and off the face-off. The final seconds will elapse off the clock as Joey Vaughn was tripped up by Sam Hembree. He fell down to the ice, and the question is, will this actually count as a penalty? And it looks like it will, so Sam Hembree will be in the box to begin the third period of action as the last few seconds elapsed off the clock. And that does it for period number 2. Washington State tallies 2 goals to Idaho's only 1 to make it 7-3 after 40 minutes. And we mentioned it a couple times, Kate, that this is shaping out to be one of the most exciting games that we've seen from the Cougs all season, and it's taken place in the spring.
Definitely, this has been a very fun game to watch. Maybe a little bit of a boring period with a lot of, not really back and forth. WSU maintained control of that puck very strongly in, Idaho's zone. They created a lot of scoring opportunities, and ultimately that helped them at the end of the period with goals from Matthew Taylor and another from Cole Carlson. What are we looking for going into this period? How do you think Idaho's going to respond to a 5-goal lead in the third?
Well, I will say, Kate, we said it a couple times that it was a bit of a sleepy period there in the second period in comparison to the first. So, and you've mentioned it a lot, that you got to want it more than the other team. So coming into the last 20 minutes of play, it's going to come down to who wants to win more. Is it going to be the Cougs or is it going to be the Idaho Vandals? Because a 4-goal lead is not enough in the ACHA. You cannot win by just 4 goals. You need to get more on the board and get more production and really put your foot down on the gas if you want to run away with games. So that's how you're going to win hockey games. You have to run away with them. You can't just walk away with them. You got to run away with them. So that's what you got to be looking forward to as period number 2 comes to a close. 7-3, Washington State leading after Idaho kicked it off with Reagan Graves getting his first of the night. Matthew Taylor late with about a minute left. And then Cole Carlson very late in the frame, just getting a tip goal off a shot from Sam Hembree to make it 7-3 after 40 minutes here at the Palouse Ice Rink. Packed house here. Washington State fans, Idaho fans cheering on their teams in men's Division II hockey in the ACHA. The spring schedule for Washington State playing against the University of Idaho Vandals. I'm Smith Slye, joined by Kate Cherney in the broadcast booth with Connor Simmons behind the camera. KUGR Sports, the home of Washington State hockey. We'll be back for the third period where Kate Cherney will be on play-by-play. You're listening to Cougar Hockey. Don't you dare go anywhere.
This is a KUGR sports production,
Good pass down low to Airstrip, and he scores off the glass.
giving you play-by-play coverage of all your favorite WSU athletics.
He doesn't get it! He stopped at the line!
Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and more.
Absolutely electrifying play from Washington State to get him right back in this game.
Follow us on YouTube at KUGR Sports to listen to every game live.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Never miss a moment with the best in the West. KUGR, the student voice of the Palouse.
Gets the Cougs on the board with less than 20 seconds remaining in this first period. Here come the Cougs.
And now, back to the game.
You're listening to Cougar Hockey on KUGR.
Washington State and the University of Idaho fall asleep at the wheel for period number 2. Only pot 3 goals, which sounds a little bit weird to say, but in the ACHA, only scoring 3 goals in a period is a little bit of a sleepy period. It is now 7-3, Washington State leading, moving into period number 3 of this spring matchup, Washington State versus the University of Idaho. And on play-by-play, it's Caitlin Cherney.
Thank you, Smith. Like you said, kind of a sleepy period. Only 3 goals being scored, one of which by U of I and the other 2 by WSU. It is a 7-3 game. You know, I'm kind of excited to see what this next period is going to bring. WSU is up by 4 goals. Is the Vandals just kind of going to let them run away with the game, or they get a little pushback? You know, they want to win. This is a battle of the Palouse. How do you think that WSU is going to maintain their speed, maintain this period, and try and keep their lead?
Well, I mean, we've said it a couple times, the fact that this game has been very, very physical, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, good, clean hits. And that's kind of how Washington State's going to win this game. If they continue to win the physical battle, keep shouldering guys off pucks, hitting them, going, you know, hip to hip, just trying to shoulder them off pucks, force turnovers. Because if you can win the turnover battle, you can end up winning this game as well. You're winning by a 4-goal margin. It's 7-3 with 20 minutes left in the game. And I mentioned it before we headed to break after the second period. That's not enough to win in the ACHA. 4 goals is not enough to win. You need at least a 5-goal margin to be able to run away with the game. And for the Cougs, you want to be able to run away with it. You cannot even give Idaho a hint of being able to battle back into this game, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's what Idaho does really, really well. They're a gritty team, because as gritty as Wazoo is, Idaho is just as, if not even a little bit more gritty. So they will find ways to get goals, greasy goals, dirty goals, garbage goals. They'll find ways to score on Cole Eastman, who's taken over in this game for Lexi Cool. So you cannot even afford to give Idaho even a cent of an inch.
Yeah, and I'm a little curious here. You know, there was just a penalty on Sam Henry just as they were ending that second period. We saw U of I score on a power play before. Do you think that that's going to have a very big impact on the beginning of this third period?
Absolutely. Special teams has been a bit of a disadvantage for Washington State in the regular season. Their power play struggled a little bit. They got scored on a lot when they were on the penalty kill. So for Washington State, you cannot afford to let those same woes carry over into the spring season as the Cougs are taking the ice. And Keegan Lucas for Washington State, who's wearing number 11 today with the Crimson jerseys, has got the bubble on, and he's got the, hard to describe, a bit of a chrome colored visor on, which is absolutely fun to see. You saw Alex Ovechkin wear that a lot early on in his career, and now you got Keegan Lucas wearing it. Definitely a very stylish bubble he's got on there.
It's almost looking as though he's wearing a ski mask there. But, I mean, why not have fun? It's the spring game. It's the postseason. You know, that's what hockey is all about. It's about fun. It's about just playing your heart out and enjoying a sport that you love. Looks like Matthew Taylor is going to be taking this face-off against Wilson, a previous goal scorers for both of them. Ref's going to stop the play and make him back out of the circle a little bit. Once again, lines back up, and Matthew Taylor is going to push it forward for Bushkin to pick up. U of I is able to kind of just send it on out there, but Lucas Robinson sends it right on back in. U of I sending it up the boards. Again, Lucas Robinson pushing number 18, Beeler, off the puck. And WSU is going to get it once again, rib it off the boards. U of I looking to make a regroup here. That is going to be Wilson passing it up off the boards, trying to make something happen in the neutral zone, but Reed Mullen pushes them off the puck. WSU able to gain it out once again. Bushkin skating down the ice, 2-on-1, but loses it in his skates. And Wilson, who is just on the ice, is picking up speed down the ice, skating it down the middle, and takes a shot on Cole Eastman.
Kate, if you open up a dictionary and flip to brain farts, you will just see a video of that play right there with David Bushkin and Matthew Taylor, a 2-on-1 break and opportunity. David Bushkin had the puck on the near side, Matthew Taylor on the far side. Could have passed over, could have shot, and he decided to do neither of the two and ended up just turning it right over to Idaho. It was a great scoring opportunity, but you can't get them all. But you got to just respond back here. You got to win this faceoff right now in your own quadrant.
Definitely a silly mistake there, but is one that they can recover from as Ethan Maurer tries to send the puck along the boards. Cole Carlson, just sends it on down. There's 1 minute left in this penalty kill for WSU and 19 minutes left in this period. As U of I is pressuring hard, that's number 9, Talon Smith, as he tries to get possession of the puck, loses it quickly and gains it once again off of a rebound, sending it up to his defense. His defense sending it right back on down to Smith. Lex Ballard is able to pick it up from Smith and send it into the neutral zone, where U of I is just going to play some back and forth hockey, passing it, slapping it. But Lex Ballard is able to gain it and pass it right on into U of I's zone, where Cole Carlson is crashing the net hard, but it is not hard enough to gain possession, as the U of I loses the puck on the boards there and is forced to regroup once again with 18 seconds left in this penalty kill. 18 minutes left in this game.
And you saw Lex Ballard have a pair of turnovers. That's what he does best. He forces turnovers and just tries to keep the Cougs in the game, but here's an opportunity for the Vandals.
Vandals defense sending it back down to their winger, number 70. He's going to take a shot on net, and it's going to rebound back up to the defense, back down to the forward. He scores! Number 3, Tanner Feely with the goal.
And that's how you gotta score in the ACHA. Get a couple shots on goal, have them tick off the pads of Cole Eastman, and then you have somebody like Tanner Feely just camping, waiting right there to just kind of stuff it past when there's chaos, confusion out in front. I've said it a lot. You gotta blur the lines between goaltender interference and a good goal. And that one was a good goal. It was just out in front. Tanner Feely able to just kind of collide with some bodies, and it just ping-pongs in. And now it's 7-4. Washington State's still leading, but again, this is where a four-goal margin is not enough to win.
David Bushkin chips it into U of I's zone as number 7 picks it up. That's going to be Gretzky as he sends it on down, but Sam Hembry is just going to send it right back in for him. U of I once again gaining it up to Keegan Lucas. Don't think that they meant to do that, but Keegan Lucas with his stylish shield loses the puck, and they're forced to regroup as Sam Hembry chips it down, trying to get it to Brandon Smith, but Brandon Smith quite can't get possession of it. But luckily, David Bushkin gets it below the goal line, not making a quick enough play with it as U of I hits it away. Evan King, however, wrapping around the net, loses it in his feet. U of I just sending it down. Looks like there should be an icing call, and there is.
Man, Evan King is just on the doorstep of having a few good plays in this game. He's been in on a number of different plays, but he can't quite finish. He's right there on the far side, had the puck, maybe could have gotten something going, but lost his handle of it, lost possession, turned it over. He's just kind of handing these opportunities right back to Idaho, and he's kind of beating himself, kind of shooting himself in the foot with some of these opportunities.
WSU tries to make a pass up to their defense, but nobody is going to get it. However, they're not going to call icing on it, as WSU looks like can recover from it. U of I sending the puck out to the middle there, but WSU is able to tip it out. That's going to be Matthew Taylor pressuring the puck on the boards, trying to gain possession with number 15, Lucas Clark, supporting. Lucas Clark losing his stick and tripping over that pesky blue line. The puck is going to be in WSU's zone. They're going to break it out for U of I to stop them and send it back into their zone, but Reed Mullen is able to stop them, where they lose it on the blue line again. Number 21 skates it down the ice, skates it wide. He's trying to make a pass out front, but can't quite get it as number 7 falls to the ground. And Lucas Robinson is able to pick up the puck once again, trying to pass out to Lex Ballard. Lucas Clark picking it up. Just a jumble of bodies here, kind of messy. But Reed Mullen pressuring hard is able to keep the puck into U of I's zone as it goes down there. U of I, however, not able to connect on any passes. Wilson, however, is just going to send it down onto the other side of the ice. Cole Carlson dumping it back into the zone where they've got to touch up after being offsides. U of I skating it down the center of the ice. That's going to be number 9, Smith. He makes a move. He's trying to get on net, but Cole Eastman is able to poke check him kind of and maintain that puck and covering it up.
I gotta say, Kate, I'm kind of falling asleep a little bit early on in this third period. It's about 15 and a half minutes left in the frame. And so far, it's kind of been University of Idaho and Washington State going, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. Here, take the puck. No, you take the puck. No, you take the puck. I don't want it. You can have it. They're just handing it back and forth to each other, dump and chase a little bit. It's just not really exciting hockey, but let's see if it doesn't turn around here in the next preceding minutes of this period.
Definitely. It's been very back and forth, dump and chase, like you said. But WSU is going to get the puck on the boards and just barely skate it out. It looks like that's number 8, Ethan Maurer, alongside Cole Carlson, getting that puck in finally on net. U of I just sending it right on behind there for Van Rayner to pick up at the point. He's going to kind of skate it in, passes over to Luke Jurgensen, backdoor, trying to make something happen to Cole Carlson. Cole Carlson, Van Rayner scores!
What a goal from Van Rayner. His second of the night, gets a good pass, kind of spits out onto his stick. He's got it on the near side, and there's just nothing Mahoney can do about that. A good shot from a good player, and he makes it 8-4, so they regain that 4-goal margin. But like I said, 4 goals is not enough. If you're Washington State, that's just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. You got to use that to build momentum, and like I've said many times, run away with it.
Van Rayner, the goal scorer, taking this faceoff, gets it back to defense. Keegan Lucas. And over to Sam Hembry. Keegan Lucas just sending it on into Idaho's zone. Carlson picking it up on the boards there. Looking to make a pass up front. Pass it to Luke Jurgensen. He scores!
Beautiful feed, beautiful goal. Carlson to Jurgensen in the slot, slaps it 5-hole. The Cougs will not go to the handshake line. They're winning 9-4. And so they're just going to go right into the face-off. This is what you're going to see happen here in what's turning into a bit of a blowout here in the third period in a spring game that doesn't count for the stats or anything.
There is still 14 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this period. Like you said, 9-4 hockey game as WSU leads. Cole Carlson takes a shot, it's hit off the post and back into the corner where he tries to get possession once again, but Idaho is able to kind of push him off the puck. Number 70 gaining possession, but hits away by Cole Carlson. Cole Carlson with a board battle there is able to get it down to Luke Jurgensen. Passes up to Sam Hembry. Sam Hembry just loses it on the blue line and is forced to regroup here. Tries to get it up to Luke Jurgensen, and he gets it over to Cole Carlson. Keegan Lucas there, back door as Cole Carlson passes to him and just goes above the net. Luke Jurgensen almost playing defense here. Regrouping with the puck, skates it down the ice far and wide, makes a move to the middle, just kind of loses it, and it's covered by Mahoney.
And Jurgensen had his second goal there, and he's looking for number 3. So good move there, trying to skate through bodies to get to the net of Mahoney, but an easy save there, just kind of corrals it, just fishes it right back into his glove. He got about 13 minutes and 55 seconds, basically 14 minutes left in the period, and the Cougs leading 9-4.
There is still a ton of time right now as Evan King loses the faceoff as he gets tied up. David Bushkin trying to support there, but ultimately U of I is going to get it. But it's stopped at the WSU blue line, and there is going to be, it looks like a high sticking.
Yeah, you can see that in the neutral zone. One of the Idaho players just kind of batted that down with a high stick. Good call from the official, so they'll have a neutral zone faceoff here in the foyer. 13 minutes, 43 seconds left in period number 3. Washington State leading by 5 goals after Van Rayner scored and then Luke Jurgensen scored just moments ago.
Evan King pushing that puck forward for U of I to regroup. Bushkin pressuring Thew's defense. Just kind of sends it on up, but Lucas Robinson is going to set it right on back in for them. Goalie is not able to cover the puck, but the ref calls it as such.
Now, a little bit of a late hit there from Brandon Smith. He kind of charged Desjardins a little bit, kind of shoved him into the board. It's just a titch. And, you know, we mentioned it before. This game's getting really, really chippy and has been throughout this entire matchup and the matchups earlier in this year. So for the Cougs, though, you're up by 5 goals. You need to stay within yourself. Don't get too undisciplined, because if you start taking penalties, the Idaho Vandals will make you pay.
Evan King once again on the faceoff, just kind of pushing it into the corner there, but U of I is going to send it all the way around. Lucas Robinson gaining it on the blue line, waiting for all of his players to come out and sending it right back in. Brandon Smith there, along with Evan King, pressuring behind the net, making this guy make a play. And it's going to be passed up to number 21 as he skates it wide down the ice, gaining some pressure from Brandon Smith, passes it to the center of the ice to Wilson. Wilson trying to take a shot there, goes wide of the net. There was an opportunity out front, but he couldn't quite get it as WSU sends it into the neutral zone. A little bit of a scrum on the boards here, a lot of pushing and shoving, but it's ultimately going to go in WSU's zone for Lucas Robinson to pick up. He's going to skate it around the net. Looks to make a play himself, skating it all the way down the middle through 3 Vandals players, and he's going to lose it and be sent to the corner. Vandals picking it up, sending it up ice, and back down ice, and around the ice. They're just kind of sending the puck everywhere, but they're going to send it up the boards finally. WSU is going to pressure and try and keep them in the best they can. That's Lucas Clark there, but it's Wyatt Perry who sends it down for Matthew Taylor to try and make that wraparound play once again. Wyatt Perry sending it down from the point. He's got some help here on the line, but it looks like offsides.
And that puck is cleared out by Idaho, up and hit right off the metal beam, hit it right on the screws, literally right on the screws, hit it, banged off it. They're have to blow his play dead. They're going to have a face-off in the Idaho zone because they were trying to clear out of their zone. So I want to go back to that Lucas Robinson opportunity with a head of steam, brings it right up the gut. I like the initiative from Lucas Robinson, but shows why he's a defenseman. Tries to shake off 3 guys and ends up turning it right over. So I like the idea from Lucas Robinson, but if you're the Cougs, it's all about selfless hockey. Make the extra pass and see if you can't feed somebody for a slap chance.
Vandals sending the puck, trying to send the puck out, but having no, I mean, they're out now, but the Vandals send it right on net, straight into Cole Eastman's stomach, and he's going to get absolutely no goal on that because once again, you can't score, shooting at the goalie's stomach.
And like you said, Kate, they broke it out of the zone. It was Joey Vaughn, brought it in on the near side, and they shoot it right onto the Cougar logo for Cole Eastman. And again, you're not going to score that way. I mean, the Vandals, they put up 4 goals, which normally you would think would be a really good performance, but it's not good enough to beat the Washington State's 9 goals they put up. They're trying to run away with it, and right now they need to just get some momentum back on their side if they want to just really blow out the Vandals.
Yep, definitely said that, Smith. As Van Rayner tries to take a shot on net, but it's kind of just hit off there. The Vandals breaking it out. That's number 18, Beeler, who's able to just kind of push the puck into the zone and around the net for himself. But he's pressured by 4 WSU players. If you ask me, that's a few too many WSU players for 1 corner. But ultimately, they're able to get it out. Lex Ballard skating it through. He's going to collide with someone center ice as Van Rayner pressures the puck, but it's kind of just shrugged off of it. Nobody really pressuring right now except for Luke Jurgensen, a standout player in this game. Idaho passes it up to number 18, over to Wilson, back to number 18, who sends it just down. Cole Carlson not really looking who he's passing to, passes it right to a U of I player to go back into the zone. Making plays on the blue line is not the best, but Idaho just keeps doing it. Luke Jurgensen gaining it in the neutral zone as U of I tries to send it out. Sends it on in. Cole Carlson picking it up on the boards, losing it. Can't quite get possession. U of I is able to send it out. Looks like there's going to be icing.
And you got 10 minutes left in the period. It's 9-4 Washington State leading. And going back to what you said, where there were 4 Cougs in the corner, and one thing you do not want to see in this matchup is the Cougs getting selfish. Yes, you're up 9-4, and you don't want to see some of these Washington State players start to play hero hockey, try and want to be the goal scorer, get the puck on their stick, want to go and shoot. You need to keep playing selfless hockey, because if you start playing selfish, you'll make mistakes, draw penalties, do the things that are going to hand this game right back to Idaho. Because again, you might be up by 5 goals, but you still need just 1 more, 2 more to be able to truly have enough cushion.
Keegan Lucas sending it down low there. David Bushkin picking it up on the boards and back on net, but he can't quite get there as it just gets caught in Idaho's feet. Number 10, Graves skating it down, but Keegan Lucas just hip checks him off that puck and into the neutral zone for once again them to regroup. Keegan Lucas gaining the puck in the neutral zone there, making moves, but is ultimately tripping over his own skates. Sam Hembry there with the puck. He's looking to make something happen. His player takes out another one, and there is going to be a penalty.
It looks like there might be a penalty here against the University of Idaho, as Keegan Lucas kind of got tied up with the body there. And Keegan Lucas, like we mentioned, has the kind of chrome orange visor on. He's been actually talking with some of the Wazoo fans here along the boards, kind of showing off the sty. And it's Keegan Lucas heading to the box, so he'll be looking through 2 panes of glass due to interference.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a late hit there. I can't say I exactly disagree with the call, but, you know, he did go down. We'll see. Can't really see what he's thinking behind this new cage.
Like I mentioned before, you saw Alex Ovechkin wear that a lot in the early parts of his career, and you know why he was wearing the visor early on in his career. It was because he told reporters that he didn't want the people to see him looking at beautiful girls up in the stands, and that's why he wore it for a lot of his career.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same for this team here. I think almost everyone on this WSU team might need one of those visors. But WSU is going to send it on down into Idaho's zone. Looks like they're going to regroup there, but Van Rayner there is kind of just watching this puck, seeing what they're going to do. Same with Cole Carlson here. Watching the chest mainly, because you can tell from the chest where that player is going, and it looks like he's skated wide. Smith taking a shot on net there, but just going to go into the corner. They're kind of forced out to the outside. But that is Cole Carlson there, the captain, who tries to make a move, and it's kind of just taken away easily by U of I as Wilson skates it down the ice, wide and on net. But there's nothing in there as Cole Carlson once again tries to gain it on the boards. Van Rayner passing it up to him is thrown off the puck by number 5, Clayton Lee. For number 22 to pick up, that's Joey Vaughn. Cole Carlson once again in the neutral zone, being dominant so far in this penalty kill. As U of I sends it on down, and WSU sends it right on back to them in their zone for a regroup.
And Carlson just keeps getting bullied off the puck. 2 times now he's tried to break in, and the Vandals just kind of pinch in on him, take the puck away, just shoulder him off of it, shove him down to the ice, and really are standing up Captain Calgary for Washington State.
U of I takes a shot from the point, but it's sent on down. Lex Ballard picking it up behind the net with pressure there, but he's going to send it on down. No icing again because of this penalty with 13 seconds left so far in this penalty. And 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this period. David Bushkin there behind the net, battling it out, looking to make something, should pass it up to his D, but loses it as number 70 is skating down the ice. That's Ludwig. Looks like there's going to be another penalty for hooking.
And it's going to be David Bushkin heading to the box right as Keegan Lucas is getting out of the box. Oh, pardon me, he's not David Bushkin. I wonder who they're nabbing for this. It looks like it's going to be Lex Ballard for his 3rd period of the night, for 3rd penalty of the night.
Yep, it is going to be Lex for hooking there behind the net. I didn't exactly see it, but it did seem like there was a little bit of a scrum going on. WSU, just as they kill that other penalty, gains another one with Keegan Lucas and the Shield being back out there on the ice. U of I gaining the puck, skating it wide, taking a shot from that bottom corner, but it's just going to be tipped off and back into the same corner for the same players to pick up. A lot of the same players out there playing on this power play as the other period. Keegan Lucas, one of our faster defensemen, also skating it down, looking to make something happen there behind the net, pressuring, but U of I is going to get it out and into the zone. They're just going to try and take a shot, but it's tipped off one of the defensemen's sticks and into the netting.
I love that sequence there from Keegan Lucas. Was in the way of a shot, blocked it right off the leg, and you saw him kind of react to it like, that definitely kind of stung. And then the puck gets cleared down ice. He beats it out. He skates all the way down to try and get that puck. So not only did you wear a shot off the leg, you didn't let it affect you, and you got all the way down ice. Like you said, one of the faster defensemen on this team with about 7 minutes left in the period, and Washington State leading 9-4.
Not exactly sure what happened there. It's a little hard to see down in that corner there, but it looks like they're going to be sending it out of the zone, possibly up into the netting. Don't want to assume.
I'm liking this penalty kill unit right now for the Cougs. Van Rayner, Matthew Taylor, Sam Hembry, Keegan Lucas, with the visor as we mentioned. So this is a good kind of quartet of killers on the ice to kind of kill off this penalty.
Number 5, Clayton Lee here with the puck. As he skates it, he's been known to skate it down, but Keegan Lucas is going to kind of swat him away and able to get it away from him. Idaho getting the puck down low and behind the net, going to send it out front for nobody, it looks like. But, however, Graves is going to pick it up, sending it on over. Ooh, just past Cole Eastman there as the net gets a little set off, but that's a risky move for WSU.
A good shot from Clayton Lee, the freshman who has 4 goals and 8 assists on the year. Got the puck on the far wing, kind of was able to calm it down, get it on his blade, and fire a shot that just ticked off the pads of Cole Eastman. And then, of course, the goal just gets off its pegs there. They have to put it back on, blow the play dead. You got about 6.5 minutes left in period number 3, and Washington State leading 9-4.
Luke Jurgensen gaining the puck in the corner there, sending it on around for Ben Wilson. That is going to be offsides.
A bit of a delayed call from the lines judge. I was expecting them to make that a little bit quicker. That you could definitely tell that puck just leaked into the neutral zone and then was brought back on. So a good call from the line judges. Again, you got about 6 minutes and 14 seconds left in period number 3. 50 seconds, so less than a minute left on Lex Ballard's penalty. So the Cougs have just about killed off this penalty.
Luke Jurgensen winning the puck back to David Bushkin. David Bushkin just sending it on net there. 21 picking it up behind the net. He's going to try and make a move with Luke Jurgensen watching him there. Passes it up to his wing where David Bushkin kind of sideswipes him, and he's going to get a penalty.
Yeah, definitely just collide with him there in open ice. I mean, David Bushkin's pleading his case, kind of talking to the officials and to Talon Smith about it, but you can definitely tell it's a penalty. He'll take a seat right beside Lex Ballard. The two of them are definitely good friends, so they're going to be spending the next 30 seconds together in the penalty box. They're talking to each other right there. It's a pair of freshmen. David Bushkin, the forward, Lex Ballard, the defenseman. So they kind of, right there in the box is the picture of the young core that Washington State has on this team. 2 of the best freshmen, the best freshman forward, and the best freshman defenseman in the box together in the sin bin.
Not only are they friends, but they're also roommates. Looks like it's going to be a 3-on-5 here for WSU, which can be very risky as it is in their own zone. And U of I has a tendency to spread it out and kind of pass along the outside like we're already seeing now. 21 has it. He's going to pass it back door. Net's going to be hit off, but they're going to call it no goal. Looks to be a little chaos going in front of the net there.
And it looked like number 36, Luke Adams for the University of Idaho, kind of got a little too close for comfort to Cole Eastman. He got wrapped up in a bit of a headlock there with one of the Washington State players. They were just kind of talking to him a little bit, and then the refs have to come in and kind of break it up. You got about 6 minutes left in the period, 9-4 Washington State leading. And again, we said this is the chippy rivalry here, the Battle of the Palouse. There's not necessarily a fight breaking out, but both these teams definitely don't like each other per se.
Definitely, and there is 23 seconds left on Lex Ballard's penalty before it becomes a 4-on-5, which is still down a man. A little unfortunate. I think that might be a little bit of an officiating issue, at least for David Bushkin's goal, but Idaho has the puck at the point, passes it D to D, takes a shot on net. It's just hit off the side. They're forced to regroup as the puck heads out of the zone. Looks like it's number 21 skating it down and wide. Probably going to pass out front, but he skates all the way around this zone looking for something. Passes backdoor. Backdoor kind of loses it in his feet there, and Van Rayner is able to gain possession of the puck and just kind of chip it out. 4:21 to recover.
And Lex Ballard's penalty it just expired, so the Vandals are unable to capitalize on the 5-on-3. And we saw that a number of times in the regular season for Washington State, where they would have a 5-on-3 advantage and just could not capitalize. And you said it a lot, Kate, that there is no reason why you should not score on 5-on-3, and the Vandals were unable to do it there.
Joey Vaughn taking a shot on net, but it's going to be nothing as Ludwig picks it up on the board, sending it back around. WSU gaining possession of it in the middle with Van Rayner passing it up to Cole Carlson. It was almost a 2-on-1 there. He almost looked like he scored there, but I think it just barely didn't make it. And the ref calls no goal, and the net is hit off.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, Kate. I was looking down, about to write Van Rayner for his 3rd goal of the night for the hat trick, and then you just said that they waved it off. I look up, and you're right, they're waving it off. it looked like they definitely scored on him, but apparently my eyes were playing tricks on me, and it just kicked out. So Braxton Mahoney gets really lucky there and avoids a double-digit scoring performance from Washington State.
Yeah, just barely there. I saw it almost not go in. You know, the puck has to fully cross that goal line to be considered a goal. It may be halfway past before it kind of was trickled back out. Unfortunate there as it doesn't trickle in, but Keegan Lucas has the puck at the point, takes a shot on net, but it goes wide. And number 10, Graves, is going to pick up the puck, passing it on to net. Cole Eastman hitting it off and into the corner. A little scramble there in front of the net between Sam Hembury. It looks like Graves just keeps falling to the floor as Keegan Lucas is able to skate the puck in. He's going to make a play out wide, passing it to Van Rayner. Cole Carlson trying to make a move there, but Mahoney just shuts them down. Wilson skating it up the ice. He's got a 2-on-1. Oh, looks like a risky move there by Keegan Lucas as he kind of swats that puck away. Number 10, Graves, picking it up, sending it back to his defense. Looks like they're going to be icing the puck as nobody can really get it at this red line.
There must be a layer of plexiglass between the pipes for Braxton Mahoney, at least when Van Rayner has the puck. He's had 2 chances now where he could have possibly scored, and he just wasn't able to get them. Quality opportunities. He was in the slot, could have just slapped it home, and somehow magically just stays out of the net, and it remains 9-4, Washington State leading with about 4 minutes left in this game.
Number 5 is going to pick it up. That's Clayton Lee as he tries to make a play happen, but is stolen away by Brandon Smith off the boards. Brandon Smith with a shot on net, and it's stopped by Mahoney.
And right there you see Brandon Smith and David Bushkin showing off the hockey IQ there. Brandon Smith maybe could have pushed in a little bit, but decides to kind of circle the track, go out wide a little bit, and then David Bushkin puts on a screen like we're playing basketball, takes a man with him, and opens up the lane for Brandon Smith to be able to fire that shot. Mahoney makes the save. That's just some good hockey IQ from the senior and the freshman.
Evan King trying to pressure there, but it gets sent up to Lex Ballard, who takes a shot on net, but it's just tipped off to the side. Bushkin pressuring, but loses it. Brandon Smith pressuring now behind the net. Number 5, Clayton Lee. Lee passes it up to his Vandals player. But David Bushkin's able to throw them off. Finally, everyone kind of loses the puck, and it's sent up to Lex Ballard. Back down, back up to Lex Ballard. He's going to skate it in, takes a shot on net, just goes wide. Bushkin there on the boards to recover it, sending it up to number 8, Ethan Maurer, where he takes a shot on net. Bushkin sending it around, passing it up to Lex Ballard now. Lex Ballard takes a shot on net, but it just goes wide. Ethan Maurer kind of trying to throw them off that puck with a little butt check there. Ultimately, the Vandals are going to get it, skating it out of the ice. Number 6, that's Adams. As he's thrown off it, Brandon Smith tries to pass it up to Lucas Clark, but they can't quite connect as Lucas Clark doesn't really know where that puck is. Finally back to the defense and back up to Lucas Clark. He's going to try and make a move through some skates, but Clayton Lee is just going to shut him down for WSU to recover. Number 21, Reed Mullen, sending it back out into the neutral zone. And that's going to be Wyatt Perry, who is pressuring hard, kind of throwing them off of this puck. I do really like this line with Matthew Taylor out there. Wyatt Perry and Lucas Clark, they seem to be working well together. However, Reed Mullen recovers it off the blue line, just pushing past 4 Vandals players and into the zone. But it looks like they're going to be calling a penalty.
It looks like it's tripping. I'm not sure if it's against Wazoo or U of I. So we'll see who heads to the sin bin. It might be one of the U of I men. That or it's Lucas Clark, who's kind of skating over slowly to the box, and it will not be him. It's a guessing game right now to see who heads to the box. They did motion for a tripping penalty, but no one's headed to the sin bin thus far. And finally, it's number 4 who's heading to the sin bin. So yes, it will be a power play for Washington State late in the game, 1:58. So basically, they will be on the man advantage for the rest of this game. They are leading 9-4 here in the 3rd period.
Van Rayner taking this face off. He tries to push it forward, but ultimately the Vandals win. Cole Carlson there trying to stop the puck a little bit, sends it back on down. Van Rayner once again getting the puck behind the net, up to Lex Ballard. Lex Ballard takes a shot on net, but it's going to go off to the side. Cole Carlson there trying to send it on back up. Finally, the puck is out of the zone. Lucas Robinson there with Lex Ballard making a D-to-D pass and skating it back into the zone. Lex, a forward defensive. He kind of plays a little bit of both, but it's going to be sent into the rafters in the center of the ice.
He's definitely an offensive defenseman. You hear Lupinacci say that a lot in our player interviews with him after games. He'll say, hey, we love Lex Ballard because he's an offensive defenseman. He gets in on the plays. He scores a lot. He's having a great season. He had a great season in the regular season. 4 goals, 9 assists, led all defensemen as a freshman. So not only is he the best freshman defenseman, he's the best defenseman on the squad.
Idaho is just going to send it on down to Cole Eastman, where it looks like Lucas Robinson is going to recover behind his own net, passes over, let Ballard take it, like skating down the ice by himself, skates through forwards, and he's going to try, but he loses it, and the puck goes behind the net. Van Reyner there trying to help him, but ultimately it's Cole Carlson who picks up the puck right behind the net and just easily top shelf for Cole Carlson.
No better way for Cole Carlson to secure the Hattie than by zipping it right past the hat of Mahoney, right over his shoulder, right past the head, into the top left corner to make it 10-4. Solidifies a 10-goal performance for Washington State, and that is just a perfect way to kind of get a power play goal late in this game. 58 seconds left in the period, in the game, and you are leading by a 6-goal margin, just beating the Vandals into the dirt.
They are now in double digits with 55 seconds remaining in this period. I don't know what you think, Smith, but I think there's absolutely no way that the Vandals can recover from this. As Cole Carlson is skating it through he loses it. That's now Sam Hembry recovering in his own zone, passes over to Keegan Lucas and back over to Sam Hembry. Back to Keegan Lucas. They're just kind of playing keep away at this point, monkey in the middle, as they're just killing time with 30 seconds left in a 10-4 game. Passes it on up there to Cole Carlson and Luke Jurgensen. Cole Carlson just trying to dangle it through some guys, making some moves. But U of I is able to get it. They recover. Number 7 picks it up. And Cole Eastman gloves it as he shoots.
Good wrist shot there from Hudson Gretzky. Like we mentioned, not Wayne Gretzky, but a different Gretzky, same name, different skill level. You know, he's playing with the Idaho Vandals. Again, it's 10-4, Washington State leading, 14 seconds, so less than 20 seconds left in the game. And you said it, and I agree with you. There's kind of no way for Idaho to battle back into this game. Right now, it's just about playing for pride and not giving up in the last few seconds.
Definitely. There's 10 seconds left in this period as Keegan Lucas just kind of sends it out. The time ticks down, 5, 4, 3, and WSU has possession of the puck, trying to just get one more goal in there. But the third period is over, ending 10-4 for the Cougars.
That right there is the definition of a spring game for Washington State. You put up 10 goals to Idaho's only 4, and you were experimenting the whole night. A number of different line combinations, different D pairings, different power play units, penalty kill units, everything. You were just trying to work out the kinks and figure out what you're working with moving into the next season, the 2026-2027 season, as both teams will line up to shake hands here after this spring game. This was a bit of a last-minute addition to the schedule. We were talking about the fact that we learned about this last week. We were like, okay, Idaho and Washington State, they're going to be playing on Monday at 6:30 p.m. And this was just a good game, a friendly, you might say, if you were a soccer fan, right? It's an exhibition match. It doesn't go in the stat sheet at all. This isn't really important for anything, but it is for pride. It's the Battle of the Palouse. It doesn't matter if it's regular season, postseason, spring season, doesn't matter. Washington State and Idaho are going to give you a good match any day of the week. They're going to play hard. They're going to make it entertaining, and the Cougs did that today by putting up double digits in the goal column. A super fun game to watch if you're a Washington State fan, not so much if you're a Vandals fan.
Definitely. They came out hard. We said it in the beginning of the game that they just kind of got those gritty goals. They look like they're just having fun out there as they kind of celebrate with their fans a bit. But, you know, I mean, a great game for the spring season. It's great development, especially for the Cougars, maybe not so much for the Vandals. But again, it's just kind of reinforcing that you are a good team. You guys are having fun before a few of the seniors leave, and the freshmen continue to get better and better as we continue in these seasons.
And the Cougs salute all their fans here along the glass, just saying thank you for showing out tonight. I mean, just a phenomenal game from them. And like you said, a good game to develop here and just try and figure out who you're working with in going into next season. But for the Cougs, it was a lot of the usual suspects getting on the board. Like I mentioned, 10 goals. And if you go back, look at the first period, it was Lucas Clark kicking it off. Then it was Sam Hembry, Luke Jurgensen, Van Rainer, Cole Carlson. That was all in the first period. Then the second frame, it was Matthew Taylor kicking it off, and then Cole Carlson getting his second. You move into the third, and it was Van Rainer who kicked it off, and then Luke Jurgensen. And then finally, very, very late with a power play goal, Cole Carlson securing the hat trick with a top shelf wrister right over the shoulder. So a 10-goal performance for Washington State. That's what, when you look at that, that wasn't necessarily the ceiling for the Cougs. They still played kind of sloppy hockey at the end of the day. So the ceiling for this team is much higher than that. But this is something that they can do when they are playing well, when they have everything going almost close to 100%. You can put up 10 goals against a weaker Idaho team. So if they can do that in the regular season, I have no doubt that they could possibly finish higher than they did last year and maybe finally win a playoff game for the first time in Lupinacci's tenure as head coach.
Definitely. I talked to Cole Carlson at the end of that playoff game that they unfortunately lost in the first round, and he was just kind of saying that the offseason and the spring season are times to develop as a team, develop as players. You know, he will be there for another season, and I'm excited to see how this team progresses. You know, they were 4th seed this year, which is almost the highest that they've ever been, especially in the Lupinacci era. But, you know, maybe next year they could be 3rd, 2nd, even 1st. Give UW a run for their money, give Western a run for their money. Two very, very good teams that honestly, I feel like if they play their very best, if they accelerate more than even they did in this game, they could definitely give them a run for their money.
Yeah, UW is a team that has definitely had Washington State's number all of last season, all of the season before that, the season before that, the season before that. And the season before that. UW just really has Washington State's number every single time they go and try and play them. The closest they've kept it with them was that first game against UW in Northgate where they barely lost 2-1. David Bushkin had a goal in that game. That was the only game of the weekend because the next night you got blown out 7-0. And then you play UW in the Toyota Center in Kennewick, Washington, and you get smoked 10-0. So I will say the Pac-8 has the top 3 teams. It's locked in. It's Cal, it's UW, it's Western. That's going to be the dynasty for a little while until something changes. But we've talked to Lupinacci about this. He understands that the top 3 spots, those are locked in. You're probably not going to dethrone UW. You're not going to dethrone the Cal Berkeley Bears. You're not going to dethrone the Vikings at the moment. But what you can do is you can be the best out of the preceding teams, the worser teams. You can be the #1 team. You can be better than Eastern. You can be better than San Jose. You can be better than USC. You can be better than those guys below you. So that's the goal for Washington State, is finishing in that 4th spot, that #4 seed, because that's what you can get. That's attainable. That is a realistic goal. And right now, with the game you put together tonight against the Vandals, that is seeming very, very, very possible. Because if you can play like that a majority of your games in the regular season next year in the 2026-2027 season, you can definitely get that #4 spot, and you could possibly win your first playoff game in a long time.
Yeah, and we will be there for the 2026 and 2027, covering it all. Thank you for joining us here at the Palouse Ice Rink in Moscow, Idaho. I'm Kate Cherney, joined along by Smith Slye. This has been a 10-4 hockey game. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.